Hello and welcome. Today we have a very special episode of the CPL podcast. Well, it's not the CPL podcast, it's the Clodcast. We just cover CPL. Um, I'm rambling again. My name is Ben. I am your host. And as you can see, we have the Wooper Prs today. And why are the Wooper Prs special? Well, the Wooper Prs are the first time every season we get to shit on our glorious owner, Pate, who is my partner.
Officially.
But yeah, it's the first time every season we get to clown on him. Let's see if we clown on him this
Officially.
time. As you heard,
You're missing that I get to clown on him in the draft because I'm in the same division. So
well,
you're all
yes.
late to the party, actually.
Well, yes. As you heard, I am here with Roy, who's basically the second co-host at this point because he's here more often than anybody else.
Hey guys, might be missing for the Clodcast PRs depending when we do them, if gambling goes well.
Yes, the British man who loves gambling. And we have a special guest, our other mod, and one of our favorite Australians on the server, and the person who's going to clown on Pate this season, Rose.
Yay! I'm gonna clown on him again, like I clowned on him last season for not bringing Hayes.
Exactly. I mean, probably everybody.
That was so
clowned on
bad,
him
by the way.
last season.
That was hilarious. He let me 6-0. That was fucking hilarious.
Yeah. For anybody who has not seen a PR video yet, first of all, what the fuck are you doing? Second of all, we rank teams based on how good they are probably on paper. We rank on 4 statistics, basics, which in basics we basically rank: do they have every important typing? Do they have like every basic they need for a draft to work well? Like, do they have hazards? Do they have removal? Do they have the important type things? Do they have good enough speed tiers? Then offensive core, self-explanatory. Defensive core, self-explanatory. And support is the last category. How good does the team support itself? And that gets us to the final score of every team. The rankings were made by me, Roy, and Rose. So, a different opinion than me and Roy for once.
I actually voted quite differently to you on some. I like some of the teams more. We were mostly very, very similar, but there were a couple of teams that I liked a lot more and a couple of teams that I really hated,
Yeah,
which we'll
There
talk
is
about when we get to them.
Yeah, there's definitely a team I disagree on hating as much as Rose hates it.
Anyways,
we were talking before we started recording.
Yeah, we were talking about a little bit of how the rankings ended up, and we will start with team number 16, and it is the worst rated team in all divisions this season. It's some random Minecrafter.
Okay. What? Okay, yeah, Ben, I'll let you start because I have opinions on this team.
Let's start with the positives and the basics. The speed tiers are not too bad. There's no two big gaps. There is a big gap between 90 and 75. And from there on out, the gaps are
fine
not
though.
Yeah. From there on out, the gaps are
because
not
isn't
too
it
big.
16 is the base stat difference between
14.
Adam and Agility?
It's 14.
I would say going
It's
on to a
14.
negative thing here though straight away, that's not a real speed gap because it's a Schroeder and a Smeargle.
Nah, that totally counts.
I would say
I
Smeargle
think you're
counts.
pushing it.
Strudel counts on the list, but Smeargle definitely counts. Because
Yeah, Strudel doesn't count because Strudel is going
Alright,
to
I'll
be
let you have the
ranked,
Smeargle.
every single game that it comes.
Yeah.
Which is another thing that's bad about this team because it kind of needs Strudel to come.
Yeah. Let's get into
Okay,
the
what?
typings. This team does not have a water type, which is one of the most essential typings in draft. Not only because water is a very great defensive typing, it also is a pretty good offensive typing. Then we have no flying type, which in some situations is fine if you have levitator mons or a very strong grass type or like grassy terrain, but as we can see, this team does not have a single immunity, so no flyer, no levitator. This team's ground resist is Sceptile.
And Sceptile is an offensive mon that is not a check to ground types at all.
Yes.
I love my ground check being 70 HP, 65 defense. It's great.
Exactly. So So you can guess how hard Earthquake will go into this team. Of course, you have Ting Lu, which is an amazing defensive mon, but I don't think Ting Lu will make the big difference in this team that ground types will not completely destroy you.
I've actually just realized this is a team that will lose to Zygarde, but it will run 4 balloons and it'll be fine. You watch.
I mean, you still get hit by 1,000 arrows.
That's what I'm saying. It loses to Zygarde, but in every other match, it just runs a bajillion balloons or something. I don't know. Okay, it's.
I actually know someone who beat with that strategy because their team was so ground weak that they had no ground resist and no ground immunities, but they just beat me because they ran every mon with balloon.
Yikes.
I was just spamming like ground into them. I was new.
Another big problem this team has, it does not have a ghost type, and a lot of times not having a ghost type can be okay because you either have like a great normal resist and like good fighting resist. While this team has a good normal resist in Iron Crown, this team does not have good fighting resists. The fighting resists are Tapu Koko and Iron Moth. So basically, any fighting type with Earthquake...
I do feel like you're going to bring like Terra Ghost Pori Z to most matches.
Yeah.
Not that really matters, but yeah.
It's not defense. I mean, that's a good set, but also, it's not really a defensive check, but that is a fair point. But even then...
You don't have a switch in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, any fighting type with the Earthquake coverage, which is I think 90% of fighting types, will destroy this team.
Yeah. Oh, I did want to say another thing that I really don't like about this team.
Go ahead.
Which is part of the issues with it, in that this team is forced to bring too many mons.
Yeah.
Like, you need to be bringing like non-negotiables. There's like 3 non-negotiables on this team, maybe 4, that you have to bring every match, which means that it becomes either a really poor team or a team that's really predictable, which is kind of a big issue.
Terra Poison Umbreon is coming like 20 million times a week. Oh, I've also noticed another problem that might have been mentioned while my Discord was playing up. Normal spam into this team is very free as well.
That was raised, yes.
I thought just in case because my list will cut out.
Yeah. This team also has like kind of an issue for like offensive ice types. Like let's say a Kyurem or a Baxcalibur runs into this team. What is switching in?
Yeah.
Your Assault Vest Iron Crown.
Yeah. So the basics are obviously not good. The offensive core is a little better. It's not the best though, because physical offense you have. Well, Koko can run physical offense. It rarely runs that. Ting Lu can be offensive as well, but it's a defensive mon, especially on this team. It's a defensive mon, and then the only other physical offensive mon you have is Haxorus.
Yeah. Haxorus, which is a great mon, but without Terra, it's kind of lacking on this team. It is a good mon. I do love it. There's a reason why I drafted it in BTL with Terra, but it kind of needs a bit of a kick here. I think, especially on this team, which is struggling already.
Yeah, obviously you have like some niche setup mons, like Hitmontop with Technician can do something if it gets a bulk up or something. Then Sceptile with Unburden and the Sword Stance can do something, but like these are niche situations. Special offensively, it looks a lot better though. This is where the 6 comes from. Because for one, you have Koko in Electric Terrain, which is pretty good. You have Iron Moth and Iron Crown, both getting boosted by the terrain again. And then Porygon Z with Terra, which is obviously a very good Terra cap and very scary offensively. And then again, Sceptile can also run special sets. But that's also it for the special offense, basically. And yes, unless you run like a Calm Mind Umbreon, which I guess if you really want to.
I mean, you can do it, but Umbreon is needed so badly defensively, which segues into defensive core.
Yeah, and that's where we get into the problem with the defensive core, because if you look at the main defensive Pokemon, which are Iron Crown, Umbreon, and Tinglu, Umbreon and Tinglu get destroyed by fighting types, and then Iron Crown is not resistant to fighting types. So you have this issue there. Then of course, like you can argue Hitmontop is a defensive mon for the team as well, but Hitmontop
Probably is, but
yeah,
still.
but Hitmontop,
I'd argue it's a defensive one on most teams, but yeah, it's not a great one.
Yeah, the problem with Hitmontop is it only has 50 base HP, which doesn't make it too bulky. Of course, it has Intimidate, which helps a little bit, but in the end, it's not the most reliable mon. So the defensive load is gonna be carried by Tinglu Umbreon, and I think they're gonna come every week, basically.
I think as well. You know how
was at least there.
You know how Rose mentioned that how Porygon C comes Terra Ghost every week. I kind of disagree. I think Umbreon comes Terra Poison every week, because then that way they have a defensive check that isn't getting absolutely smashed by basically fighting types.
And that just adds a fifth ground weakness to the team.
Yeah, okay, but Terra Fairy probably then.
Yeah, Terra Fairy is the correct.
Oh, actually, Terra Flying Boots, because then it is resist fighting and is immune to ground. I've just cooked.
No.
Yeah, we've obviously already talked about the massive defensive holes on the basics, like with the ground types, the fighting types, ice types are all very scary to this team.
I'm gonna check the thing, because are any of the laddies available?
I think Latias.
Good question.
Because this team needs a laddie, is what it needs. Because that also, this is meant to be a HO team, but it doesn't have Healing Wish, and it doesn't have the immunities that you want to be using to switch around.
Yes,
and I feel like a laddie would really help.
None of the laddies
the thing is, it's not. It's a hyper offensive team. Not offensive enough either, in my opinion. It needs more offense for it to work.
It does. The point of the team is clearly to use electric terrain.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have any of the really good electric terrain abusers.
Except for Iron Moth.
I agree. Like it has Iron Moth, which actually Iron Moth. The top two. I think the top two are great.
The top three are
and
great.
I think top three are great. Iron Crown's not. I think Iron Crown's fine. Also top five's great. It's the bottom six that you need to move stuff around. I think honestly the top five works, and then it's just from Schroeder onwards it goes wrong.
Yeah.
I think that's where the problem is. I think there's a good start here.
Latias is available in Wooper.
No, it's available in Pooper. Not in Wooper.
I'm looking at the wrong. I'm looking at last season.
Yeah,
because I'm dumb.
I have current season stock open. This is both Lotties are available in Pooper, but none are in Wooper.
It's amazing. It's amazing how well Rose did week one, considering that he prepped for the wrong team. I'm quite impressed. That is a joke, by the way.
Now we get into I think the best positive of this team, which is the support. Obviously, you have electric terrain support, which does help the Iron Moth, the Iron Crown, and the Sceptile. Then you also have Wish support. You have decent enough hazards. Momentum is okay. Removal is pretty shit. Can't lie. It's Coco and Hitmontop.
I will give the hazards some credit because they do have untauntable hazards in Smeargle, which is probably a bit copium, but that is something they have.
Yeah, that's Smeargle's a mon that doesn't show up on my dock because it just has everything, so you can just count it to basically everything. The one big problem this team has supportive wise though as well, it has one knockoff mon. The knockoff mon is Shroodle. I guess,
and Smeargle, which is still bad. It's not even a good knockoff mon.
Yeah, but at least Shroodle's knockoffs do a little damage. Smeargle's knockoffs come from a 20 base attack stat.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Why has this team not picked up the currently free Iron Jugulus?
Oh, that's a good shout. That would actually help this team a lot. I'm not even an Iron Jugglers fan, but that would actually improve this team dramatically.
I was just having a look at like what's available. I feel like Iron Jugulus does a lot. Also, if you really want to go with the like kind of hyper offense with your super defensive statted mons, Cresselia is also available, which is got a much better typing situation for this team than some of the other options that are around. And it actually has like this is fixable, but yeah.
As much as I think this is probably one of the weakest teams I've ever seen drafted, and I mean that not to be a dick, but genuine feedback. This isn't like an unfixable team with no positive traits. Generally, the top 5 is legitimately a good base. It's just gone down after the top 5. It just has become a mess, and need to tweak some of it. And it will be probably might be a top 8 team in Wooper. Like generally, there is stuff that works here. Then there is potential for this team.
Yeah. I think you need to remove Porygon. You need to remove probably Sceptile, maybe not, but you remove some of the sweepers that are down the bottom and you replace it with things that are type-wise better for you that still function within your team archetype, like Cresselia and Jugulus, which are both available and both really good on this team.
Yeah, and also please get a water type.
Yeah, you do need a water type. That is a bit worrying.
Like, there's enough good water types left that you can pick one up.
This team doesn't even have a Mega at the moment.
I mean, that's fine. You can go without Mega.
Wait a minute. Rotom Wash is available in this in Wooper. What? There's some crazy stuff. Toxapex even.
No, not this team. But like Rotom Wash definitely helps a lot. Like actually, that's also immune to ground. Yeah, exactly. Okay, you still use Psyguard, but who has Psyguard?
Allison, who has the second worst team. We'll get to that.
That was going to be a segue, actually. That was me segue.
So it is not actually a segue because the second worst team overall is Sadie's.
Okay.
I disagree with this.
I thought you guys ranked. I do agree with Saximi and higher, to be fair, for the record.
We were discussing this earlier. I think that I have big issues with Allison's team, but that's fine. We'll get to those. This team also isn't great, but it's fine.
It's because you do realise that Allison is British, but also Sadie's British, so it can't be that.
We're just hating.
Sadie also has a really far cooler team logo, so that counts for a lot.
That is honestly valid.
Yeah,
on that one, I love Sack, but that's valid.
The coolest thing about Sadie's team is the team logo.
That's rude. The coolest thing about this team is actually Revavroom. I think you'll find.
Yeah, but it's
it's
non-Terra Revavroom.
Actually, no, it's Terra Hydrapple. Only the real goats have Terra Hydrapple on their team.
Anyways, let's get into the team. Essential typings wise, this team is missing 2 things: a normal and a ground type. Why are normal types good? If you don't have a defensive dark type, you need a normal type to switch into ghost types. And as we can see, their dark type is Darkrai, which is not the most defensive Pokemon. It can take 1 or 2 hits, but not a reliable ghost type switch in. And they don't have ground types. This is especially a problem.
It's fine. See, I don't have that issue with this team because I think Darkrai is perfectly fine because it gets access to Pursuit and it is a very good Assault Vest user. Anyway, keep going.
I don't know about Darkrai, obviously, but carry on.
The reason I have a problem with not having a ground type is obviously Volt Switch. Volt Switch is free, and you never want.
Yeah, that is a big issue. That one I agree with.
Like Volt Switch is like a move that is so great because it's not a weak move necessarily, and it gives momentum, and you just enable your opponents to run it freely. Another problem is that while you have 2 resists to electric types, one is a Terramon, which is your primary Terra, and most often gonna Terra out of the electric resisting typing. And the other one is Galvantula, which is not the most defensive Pokemon.
That is very valid.
Yeah,
speed tiers
I
wise,
agree with that. Like,
it looks pretty good though. There's no big gaps, so nothing we can really complain about.
This has like the best speed tiers out of the entire division.
That might probably be
The
right.
speed tiers are insane.
Yeah, the speed tiers are very, very good, but like not having a ground type is one of the cardinal sins in draft. So
I will also say another cardinal sin I've noticed is the removal. Your removal is Hitmonlee and Drifloon.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's not good.
Yeah.
I mean, it's in the nicest way. Hitmonlee is not a good. It's the worst of the Hitmons at removing, because Chan is a worse mon by far, but it's not. But Hitmonlee is not a remover. It's an offensive mon with Unburden.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hitmonchan at least has the defensive stat line to be able to spin on certain things.
Yeah.
Especially if you're thinking about it in a sense of like four-side spinning or something like that.
And generally as well, not to do the low tick lay stuff, but I've actually had success with Hitmonchan in niche matchups. It has niche matchups where it works as a spinner. But yeah, Hitmonlee is a better mon, but a worse spinner. This is like, I think generally the removal on the team is not good. Yeah, you have Magic Bounce and Mega Diancie, but that's kind of more of a fake removal.
Yeah.
This is another team that should really be picking up Rotom Wash.
Yes. Because their water
basically, whoever's watching it.
Their water type is also Poliwrath.
This is another team that really wants Rotom Wash because it's a better water type and a better electric type, also a ground type.
Yeah. And I don't think
you definitely need a ground type there.
And I don't think you really need sticky webs on this team. I can't even lie.
You don't. The speed tiers are great, and also even if you remove Galvantula, the speed tiers are still great.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Let's get into the offense, which is actually very good, very, very good on this team. Physically, we have Mega Diancie, we have Entei, Reverum, Hitmonlee, and Poliwrath. You can technically also run some physically offensive Darkrai or Deoxys sets, so that all works. Especially we have Deoxys Speed, Darkrai, Mega Diancie, Galvantula, Glaceon, and Hydrapple. So the offense is really, really good.
It's all relying on that.
Yeah.
Actually, this is a good example of the type of it has problems, but it's a good example of the type of team that you want a Deoxys Speed on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like that's a really positive note in that you're just setting up spikes and then just smacking as absolutely hard as you can. And so I think that the entire team needs to be streamlined into that. I'm reminded of what was it? Season 1 Emilio, whose only defensive Pokemon was a Gligar, but then absolutely rocked the season because the entire team was full offense.
Yeah.
Not to give Emilio credit, but yeah, that team actually looked a lot better than it actually looked like it was on paper, and the Gligar was a pivotal part of that because of how well they used it. So it can work.
It's a similar vibe to this team. That's the kind of vision I get from this team, but it needs a little bit of tweaking. But the vision is there. It just needs some, I guess, streamlining and some better choices. I think you can cut your mon numbers so that you can get some better options.
Yeah. Defensively, this team has some issues, though. First of all, obviously, we've mentioned no ground type. Their ghost type switch in is Darkrai, which can be fine against special dark types, but not physical ones.
It's true.
And then let's look at the physical defense. Okay, you have 3 mons above 110, which only one reliably switches into physical moves, which is Hydrapple, because Glaceon and Diancie don't have the necessary HP stat to switch into physical moves often. Especially your 2 highest mons are Hitmonlee and Diancie. And we've talked about Hitmonlee not being defensive at all, and Mega Diancie has the same issue. While you have some mons you can run relatively defensive in like the Deoxys Speed, you can run Drift Limb a little defensive because of the 150 HP stats, and like Terra Hydrapple and Terra Glaceon can do things defensively, it is kind of rough on some edges because you rely defensively. Basically, all of the defensive weight falls on the Hydrapple.
The other issue is that none of the mons that you could make defensive have reliable recovery, which just makes them worn down really quickly. Like if you think about a mon like Driftblim has trouble recovering its HP.
Yeah.
And Entei has trouble recovering its HP in weather and things like that.
Because even Strength Sap on most mons is pretty reliable. On Driftblim's a bit hard to get work going. It's a good mon, but good mon situationally, but
yeah, the only the Oxus is the one mon that at least has recovery, so you can run it relatively defensive, but you have to be careful with that as well because while you can run the Oxus with a shit ton of HP and defensive stats and still be fast, it is not the best defensive mon. It is a fast hazard setter. You have to keep in mind with that. And then we get to the support, which is not too bad actually. You have knockoff users, the Oxus being probably the best knockoff user here, and then Hitmonlee and Darkrai can run it too. Driftblim probably never does. You have a very solid hazard setting, and you also have wish support with Glaceon, which isn't too good of a wish support considering Glaceon doesn't have the highest HP stat, but it is there. And then you have some Trick Room support for the Hydrapple. But there are huge negatives. For one, the removal. The removal is Hitmonlee Driftblim.
Yep. Roy mentioned that earlier.
Hitmonlee is not a reliable spinner, and Driftblim is not a reliable defogger. And then the other very big issue for the supportive side is you have such an offensive-minded team, but you have barely any momentum, offensive momentum. Because Baton Pass, in my mind, is more of a defensive momentum.
That Gligar I mentioned before is still available in Wooper.
Yeah, getting Gligar on this team would be very beneficial. Drop the Driftblim, drop the Poliwrath, and drop the Galvantula. Pick up Gligar and Rotom Wash. That already improves your team by a lot. And then if you somehow have points left over, maybe swap out the Hitmonlee for something else. Something that's like a more reliable fighting type. Maybe something that gets U-turn as well. Something that comes to mind is, for example, I think a Passimian would fit this team better. Just because...
If you don't want to drop too much either, Claydol is available as well, which is a ground spinner.
Yeah, and it is levitating as well, so it helps your ground weakness a little bit.
It's I don't know if it scared too many people off from running Volt Switch or just spamming Volt Switch, but it at least gives you something to counter it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. This team has the makings of a very good offensive-minded team, just like the team before, but there needs to be some tweaks, especially in the lower tier departments. Like, I don't see the reason for having Galvantula here. I don't think this team needs webs at all.
Nope.
Then the Driftblim doesn't make sense, and the Poliwrath especially doesn't make sense. Like, I don't see what use this Poliwrath has except being a water type.
Great.
Yep.
But yeah, that's Sadie's team.
Actually, hell, Lantern's available, which is a electric immune water type as well.
Yeah, true.
There's a lot of ones that you can put. There's a lot available at the moment in Wooper. Have a look around.
Yeah, I think you can definitely fit something good on this team. Like, even a Gastrodon could benefit this team. Getting more hazards, water and ground typing. So yeah, let's jump to the next team, which is Lillian Official. And me and Ross had a quick conversation about this team before Roy came. And this team...
Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I'll let you go.
This team has an issue where it's picked one of probably the most versatile mon in the entire game, and that mon is forced to run the same set every match.
Yeah, I agree. That's immediately, that immediately docks
That
it massive
Mew,
points.
that Mew has to like own a hat shop. The amount of hats it's meant to wear on this team, crazy.
I've also spotted straight away one of the burst basics. Look at that speed gap between 78 and 100.
Yep.
Straight away. Massive problem.
This team also has a mon that is notorious for tanking its own stats when it uses the weakness policy. Just keep an eye out for that.
Yeah. Just to put it in correlation a little bit, some of the mods that will be able to run like adamant or modest sets. There's the Arcanines. Type. Wait, do the Arcanines have the same speed set? I just know regular Arcanine is 95.
Yeah, both Arcanines basically.
Yeah.
I think don't be much difference there.
Then the Urshifus can run adamant. Hydreigon, Iron Crown can run modest.
Haxorus.
Haxorus as well,
Yeah.
yeah. Gliscor as well if you face an offensive Gliscor. Yeah.
And into this team, I would actually. By the way, and into this team, if I had Gliscor, I'd be running Swords Dance, Acrobatics, Earthquake, and just sweeping the team.
Yeah, because
Facade.
Facade as well. Facade goes in as well. Yeah, you're right. Facade. Yeah. No, but Facade Earthquake. It doesn't even need anything else.
Yeah. Correct.
This team has also some typings missing. They don't have a ghost type, which on this team is not too bad. You have enough fighting type switch-ins, which is not an issue. You have only one normal type switch-in, but I think Cobalion can do the job well enough. But you don't have a normal type. And your ghost resist is Pangoro.
Yeah. And your linchpin mon is Mew, and yeah.
I've also got another flaw, and it's not obvious until you look at the team deeply. So Cobalion is a good mon. It's not great mon, it's good mon. It's a steel type, but it's a fake steel type in my opinion. And this is why, because it doesn't resist Fairy. And what are the two Fairy resist? They do have a Nidoqueen, but the other one is Cinderace.
Yep.
And honestly, if you get past the Nidoqueen, Fairy spam kind of goes in as well.
Yeah.
I am being a bit nitpicky there, though. I will admit.
They also have a
this team kind of gets 6-0'd by Diancie Mega.
Yeah, this team also gets 6-0 by any good offensive flying type.
Yeah, that's right. There's not a single resist.
Yeah. This team also has a ground weakness, but they have Tapu Bulu. So grassy terrain weakens that. So that is actually, while it looks worse than it is, it like Bulu fixes that for them.
Depends on the ground types.
Yeah, of course.
Like
if it's a special ground type, you're fucked. But
exactly.
Or if it's something like, well, we know that it's Zygarde.
Yeah. Yeah, this team has some issues, of course. Speed gap and some missing typing. Offensively, this team is pretty good, though. Physically, you have Cinderace, you have Enamorus, you have Mew, you have Bulu, and you have Pangoro. Although the Mew will probably never come offensively because, Rose has mentioned, this Mew wants to wear 16 different hats on this team. And then
the only way you can have Mew run something different is if you're running like court change Cinderace.
Yeah. And then especially we have Enamorus, Mega Blastoise, and Mew, which are like the immediate breakers. There are some mons that can work with setup, like Cobalion, for example. And we have Electrode with Terra. Electrode on itself I would not call a breaker, but with Terra I do. Because Bolt Beam coverage and just general getting some coverage on it is all it needs, basically, because it's so fast. And just slap a life over on it, and it will do the chip damage the other mons need. Also to mention,
I agree.
While I love
Terra Bulu is one of the best things about this team.
Yeah, I love Terra Bulu because it removes Bulu's 4x weakness to poison, and Bulu is a very strong Pokemon in general. The one downside is obviously Bulu does not get Terra Blast.
Yeah.
It doesn't
But
really
I think
need
this
it.
is one of the one. I think this is one of those ones that you can get away with it, like because also as well, I will say this: Terra Steel on it actually gives them a defensive mon here, and I know that sounds weird, but I will say this, and in some matchups they're going to need to bring Terra Steel Booling, and I think it might work if they're smart about it.
Yeah,
They do
because you
seem
can do
smart.
things like Horn Leech and stuff as well, which is good.
Yeah, their defensive core is a little worse than their offensive core. The defensive core consists of Cobalion, Mew, Mega Blastoise, and Bulu. Nidoqueen, you can counter that as well. Same for offense, because Nidoqueen can be both offensive and defensive because of sheer force. But like, there's obviously some big issues in the defensive core, as we've mentioned before. There's not a single flying resist. Flying types will just like, let's say, even a Mega Pidgeot just presses Hurricane into this team. Like, what's switching into the Hurricane?
Hopes and prayers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, let's talk about like physical ones. Like even like a Talonflame with a Source Sense up. What's switching into that? Nothing. Like there's some.
I mean, not to be that guy as well. Even special Talonflame with like Hurricane, like is going in on this team a bit.
Yeah, like this team has some like huge issues on the defensive side because, like, again, not a single flying immunity or resistance, and then there's like obviously the problem with the ghost types as well, where your ghost type switch into Pangoro, and in Gen 9 a lot of ghost types actually do get like at least Dazzling Gleam, so you have an issue there. And even if they don't get Dazzling Gleam, they get Focus Blast. And Pangoro's not the best defensive mon. It has 95,
Fairy
78,
Wind, Draining
71.
Kiss, literally any of them work.
Like, this team, again, a very offensive-minded team rather than defensive-minded. But then we get into support, which is probably the best factor about this team. Obviously, the hazard support, hazard setting support is amazing. You have Nidoqueen and Cobalion, which are very, very good rock setters. You have Mew, which obviously gets every hazard. Then you have a pretty good amount of momentum on this team. You even have a Trick Room mode to get the Pangoro active. You have a knockoff on Mew and Pangoro, which both can reliably click it. You have Healing Wish on Enamorus if you want to get something back up. But where are the issues with the support? First of all, the removal is Mega Blastoise and Mew. Mew already wants to wear 16 hats on this team. You can't make it a defogger as well. And while Mega Blastoise
You have to. That's the thing. You have to.
Yeah, and while Mega Blastoise is a reliable spinner, it's like what happens when a ghost type switches in? What are you like?
Dark Pulse, to be fair, I will say this. It does get Dark Pulse.
Yeah, but it's like the issue. Like you wrap
every single ghost in existence both outspeeds and smacks it with Thunderbolt.
Yeah, like a lot of ghost types just smack the Mega Blastoise back in that case. And there's obviously some ghosts that are resistant, like at least neutral to dark. So, you're gonna have some issues there. And the big, like, you have dual screens on some mons, like the Prankster Meowstic and all, and the Mew, but like again, the Mew wants to wear way too many hats. What I do have to give a little credit for, you do have good hazard setting, and you have Meowstic, which can technically you get both Meowstic forms, so you can run the female form and get a competitive boost. So that can be quite nice.
Yeah, but Meowstic shouldn't be on this team.
Yeah, it should not.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many points is it?
2.
Are you honestly? It's 2 points. I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. There might not be a better answer. There might not be a better thing you can replace it with.
Yeah, but
there's definitely a better thing you can replace it with.
Like just get.
For 2 points, yeah.
Just get a normal
have a look
type.
at 2 points. Oh, actually, yeah, normal type probably works. Yeah, you're right. Oh, actually, yeah, just get Porygon. Just get Porygon. There you go.
Probopass.
Oh no, actually, Probopass. Yeah, actually, Probopass works. It gives you rocks and a Steel type.
Yeah, or Metang if you really want a second psychic type.
Yeah.
And
yeah.
is there what other normal types? No, Dunsparce is 4 points.
Actually, Wigglytuff is not there. But
Yeah,
yes.
oh yeah, Wigglytuff was a shout as well.
I mean, Bouffalon hits really hard.
It does.
Anyway.
But yeah, this team gets eaten alive by Spectre.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but that is number 14, Lillian. Which brings us to number 13 and Rose's second worst team.
I marked this I think a whole 3 marks lower than both of you.
Yeah.
Yep, I actually don't mind. I actually think this team has a lot of flaws, but I actually will explain why I don't hate it. But I'll let Ben go first.
Okay. Basics wise, you're only missing a normal type, which is not too big on this team because your dark type is Alolan which is I think one of the best ghost type switch-ins there is. Because Alolan doesn't get hit super effectively by the fighting and fairy coverage most ghosts get. So Alolan is actually pretty fine as the ghost switch-in. Then speed tiers, we have gaps.
Okay, can I talk about the speed tiers?
Yeah.
Because the speed tiers are fucked.
The speed tiers at Clodcast is very valid. I agree with this.
Okay, the speed tiers. 1, Boltund doesn't count. 2, you max out at 107, which is crazy. And then your second fastest is Zygarde. And then you got Rillaboom. You've got all of these mons that don't want to be running like Jolly or anything either, if they can avoid it. The speed tiers are so bad. And while you've got a small amount of trick room, it's so not enough. Because
I will say this. Okay. So this is my count on this. The Bolton thing, I did agree with you, and it was literally a case of we had 3 spare points, and Bolton was the least a fast mon. I am in agreement with you. I don't think Bolton's a good mon. There's a reason why I did not draw, because I was literally looking at like my last pick for my speed, and I was there like, I don't want to draft a Bolton. It's fucking shite. So that was literally my reaction too. So I do get it. The other stuff I do kind of agree, but I do think there is a trick room mode with just Stack Attacker alone, and I think Alolan Murk can also work in trick room as well, especially with Terra, which might be copium. I agree.
I have another issue. Actually, I have a lot of issues. But
yeah, I know that.
I think this is the perfect example of why just drafting every type doesn't actually mean that you have a good like profile of mons. Because just ticking all of your boxes doesn't really do anything. Like you've got you've got a water type in Slowking, but you also now have a linchpin of your defensive profile that gets smacked by knockoff. You have your only you've got 2 normal resists, one of which has 2 4 times weaknesses, and the other one which is an offensive mon that isn't tanking shit. Like, this is one of those traps that I feel like a lot of drafters fall into, where you go, I'm going to tick all of these boxes that I need to tick, and then you end up with a team that isn't actually that good because you've just focused on ticking all of your boxes and not on how to do that effectively. Like, none of the, outside of like Stack Attacker, you don't have a flying resist. Let's be real. You have big issues with a lot of common types, like Ghost as well has issues. Like Alolan Muck is good, but yeah, I feel like this team has, the more you look at it, the worse it gets. And it comes down to speed tiers and lack of good, effective use of types. Because it's tried to get as many as possible.
I don't think that was actually Sack's plan to that. It kind of looks like it was, but that wasn't Sack's plan in building. In fairness to him on that one, I will give him that. It was so. For example, Persephone was there to be an offensive special type. That's why it was
No, I
drafted.
get
It wasn't
that.
there to be a ghost. Yeah, but like, and
But then
Stack
you,
Attack
but
was
then
there
you
to be
start
offensive.
looking at all of these things, and you go, "Oh, I've got a ghost type, so that's fine." When really you don't.
Oh yeah, I don't think he looked at that. That was a consideration. I will say this: I think Slowking is actually a very good defensive mod, and
It is.
I think Slowking is definitely not the problem here. Like Slowking actually fits
No,
really
it's
well on
not.
this team.
But
It's other stuff I have a
it's
disagreement
part
with. If
of
that makes sense.
it's part of the issue that exacerbates the problem.
Yeah, but I don't think Slowking. I think if you just basically change other stuff, Slowking is absolutely fine.
Slowking
here.
definitely stays. Slowking definitely stays. And you were right when you were talking about like some of the intersynergies of things like Slowking into your Crabominable and things like that. But
I also
think this
say
team
this as
desperately
well.
needs. Yeah, go.
I don't think knockoff's that much of a problem for this team because they've got Togekiss, Mega Heracross, Crabominable. Quite a lot of things can just take a knockoff without worrying it. So I think that's actually the opposite problem. I think there's other things. The Ghost Fam is definitely a problem.
The
I
Ghost is
think
a
even
huge problem.
only because of the Muckalola basically
And
being
so
a
is
Terra
flying.
Captain as well. Flying's a big problem too. I agree flying's a problem because Stack Attack rarely stays its typing. So they don't really have fun. That I think the flying and the normal is the bigger problems. I don't think the Ghost is that big a problem because you can get around it with a Lola Muck in certain matchups. Knockoff, no, but the flying and normal are the big problems I see. And I think that's what I have to help with him in prep. That I agree with you. Because if I was in charge of the team, I would be looking at tweaking things, especially the Bolton, and trying to move some points around with other stuff. Because I do see another big flaw, which we'll get to later as well. Which I think is very spottable as well. And we did flag it. But actually, two. I see two. Actually, I see three, to be fair. I think Zach will make the team work, by the way, because I know what Zach's going for. But it's going to take a lot of effort to make it work and in good building.
Yeah.
If a single person in each matchup brings the move in prison, they just win the matchup because this team's only ever going to do one thing.
No, it does other things too, to be fair, but I agree. Stacker does one thing. I will tell you this, though, you can counter it with Mental Herb. Mental Herb counters Sam in prison.
Yeah, but then you just pray to all of your 4x weaknesses. Anyway.
You don't need to.
I do think the 4x weaknesses are a little exaggerated because Stack Attacker is the Terra Captain. It cannot switch in, yes.
Yeah.
But once it is in, it will more often than not click the Terra type. And I think the only reason there is a Muck Terra added to it is because I think Muck Alolan Terra doesn't cost extra.
That was literally the reason. Muck Alolan might Terra in the odd matchup and will have a Terra type, but it was basically because there was it didn't cost any extra points. And I did say, do you know Muck's a good Terra Captain? But that's what we went with for that reason. I also say again, yeah, the 4x weaknesses on Stack Attacker is fake because Stack Attacker is going to Terra out that type in often. Hence why I agree the normal and flying are big problems because Stacker's rarely staying its type. No. So Stacker's rarely changing. Stacker's rarely staying its type. That's why the flying and all weaknesses are so bad because Stacker's. Huh?
It can't switch into anything, and then you've got your issues of just getting absolutely swept.
Yeah, but you just that's not how you use Stack Attacker. You usually just Stack Attacker is not a mon you switch in. Like trust me on this. That is not using Stack Attacker right. You don't switch it in before you Terra. That Stack Attacker is but again, that's my point.
Exactly the issue with this team because it needs it to.
But yeah, that's where the problem elsewhere. That's why I agree on the flying and normal stuff. But yeah, Stacker having 4x weaknesses isn't the problem. Stacker being the Terra Captain and the only answer to other types when it's always Terraing is the problem, not the Stack Attacker itself. It's with the other mods where the problems come in.
Yeah, I think let's just let me just round off some stuff before we keep talking about this team. For the offensive core, physically, Blacephalon does not count, even though it has 127 attack, because it doesn't have a physical offensive move pool. Then
I legitimately forget it has that much attack. It's quite funny, actually.
Yeah, it has a lot of attack stats, but it's I can tell you its physical move coverage. Its strongest fire move
Judge
is Fire Punch. Its strongest ghost move is Shadow Claw, and its only other coverage are Return, Knock Off, Rock Blessings, and Headbutt.
I mean, that's not the worst coverage. I mean, you never would use it. Don't get me wrong, but that's not the worst coverage.
One matchup you'll be able to bring.
No, you never bring that because if you're bringing Persephone, you bring it specially. But like that's not that bad coverage. I was expecting it's got better for context. It's got better physical coverage than Bolton's got special coverage.
True. Anyways.
Yeah, but Bolton's an electric type. That's normal.
No, it's worse.
For the other physical offensive monsters, Zygarde, there's Rillaboom, there's Mega Heracross, there's Makalolo, Crabominable, and Stakataka. And for special offense, we have Blacephalon, we have Togekiss, and technically Slowking. So, the big problem is the special offense, because it's carried by 2 rock-weak Pokemon, for one. And Togekiss is more on a defensive supportive role on this team. And Blacephalon dies to any hit.
I did flag to Sack that we definitely want that's the reason why we ended up with Blacephalon is I did flag to Sack at like around after getting a Slowking and Togekiss. I did flag to Sack we definitely want something specially offensive. Because I did look at like our team, I was like, okay, we need something specially offensive. It was either going to be Blacephalon or Terra Chandelure.
I would have preferred the Terra Chandelure, I can't lie. But then the speed tiers are even more crap.
I will say this. My suggestion was a Terra Chandelure. I mean, and that we would have gone to other stuff. He wanted the Blacephalon for some more power. I was pro Terra Chandelure because it could do more. And I'll tell you this, it does have enough power. Maybe because I basically got it to semis before and it's actually been a fantastic one for me. But I get where it's going from Blacephalon. It is very powerful.
Yeah. But now we get into the defensive core, which is a huge, huge problem. Well, Rose has already touched upon the points that they are normal and flying weak. But we also have to consider Stakataka as the only reliable fairy type switch in because Blacephalon is not a reliable switch in. So
no, it can take a Moonblast.
Okay, Roy.
A Moonblast. I said 1. Didn't say 2. I said A.
I told you needed to be switching in.
Roy, shut the fuck up. Because after Rock, Blacephalon is not switching into a Moonblast.
It's actually not. So I was like half joking, to be fair. No. Actually, no. I've actually faced Blacephalon. So I think every time I face a Blacephalon, I just end up nuking it with a resisted hit. So you're right.
Yeah, I do think the Rillaboom fits kind of well into this team because the ground type Zygarde does not get its main stab weakened from the grassy terrain. But
I think this is another team where the top 4 is like kind of really good, and then it just doesn't. It kind of like goes off. It doesn't go in the right direction after that.
Yeah,
I still prefer it to the other 3 teams, but
very flying weak. Goes semi-ghost weak because Muck will take any ghost hit about 3 times, but after that it's like an issue because it doesn't have a reliable recovery. But that's where like Togekiss can help a little bit, but anything. But yeah, the Stakataka carries a huge load of the defense, even though it's an offensive Terra Captain. I know Zach will probably bring it defensively in some weeks as well with a like defensive Terra type, but the fact alone that as soon as Stakataka Terra's out of its typing, you get so brutally weak to 3 typings is kind of insane.
Yeah. I actually think the fairy weakness is a much worse one. Again, because I think Zach does need to tweak it. And honestly, I know he loves Mega Heracross, and I know it's our only spiker.
I think the Mega Heracross should be an Iron Hands. They're the same cost.
Oh no, I mean, well, actually, it depends. I don't actually hate Iron Hands. Actually, I more meant you need something that resists fairy, because that also doesn't. 3-point fairy seed. There you go.
The support is also rated pretty high for the fact that there are big holes in the support. Okay, let's get to the positives of support first. We have Knock.
Hello, Jakarta.
Hello, Jakarta.
Hey, we're talking about my least favorite team.
We have good knockoff support. Rillaboom, Heracross, and Muck can all reliably kick knockoff. There's no issue with that. We have Trick Room support for the 4 monsters that work well in Trick Room. We have Wish support and Grassy Terrain support, which helped keep the team more alive. But now we get into issues. This team has 1 removal. Togekiss. So Togekiss will have to come every week and it will have to carry defog every week unless Zach wants to get fucked by hazards. Second of all, this team has...
Sizzle.
this team has 4 mons with momentum. Only 2 are reliable in the Rillaboom and the Slowking. And then, of course, the hazard setting is also weak as fuck. We've seen it with Hamburger last season, where he had a Trick Room team, but he didn't have any hazards, and then he missed out on some important kill ranges. So not having hazards on a more offensive-minded team is always bad, because you want to have those specific kill ranges, especially with some monsters that don't have a natural high attack stat like Zygarde. Like Zygarde wants at least, like Zygarde with 1 spike up is a big, way more of a threat than just with one D-dance up. Like if you have a D-dance plus spike, some people can immediately lose to Zygarde. If it's just a D-dance, people will be able to switch in Mon easily on Zygarde. So there's like definitely some issues with the support. I do think personally it's rated a little bit too high, because I think the hazards, the momentum, and the hazard removal are atrocious.
This is Wooper, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Wooper. Yeah, Allison. Okay. Sorry, that wasn't meant to be a diss. I just like remember. And
Let me think. Like the way you said that, I know you didn't, but
yeah, 1 defogger's ass. I low-key think all you need in Wooper is 2 defoggers that are actually like decent, and that's enough hazard control. Cause like, I don't know, people don't like heavily play around hazards as much as like the higher tiers do. And even then, even some of the higher tiers, I think you can get away with just 2 defoggers, truthfully. But
I think I prefer defogger and a spinner. I think defogger and a spinner, but I get the point as well.
Yeah, but like the at its core, you just need 2 hazard mons. I mean hazard like removers that are like
this team
decent.
doesn't need rapid spin because it doesn't have any hazards to worry about removing on its own side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
honestly, rapid spin's not a big deal.
And I also think like in Wooper, you also kind of just need at least like 2 rockers that are decent.
Honestly,
This is 0 good rockers.
You're just like 1 short on everything, kind of like 2, because like you don't really want to run stealth rock or spikes on Heracross or Stakataka. So like,
yeah.
Ooh, I don't know.
But yeah, Rose, any more?
Just gotta run boots on everything. Call it a day. I don't know.
Rose, any more hateful comments towards this team?
Scissors available. Take it.
Scissors available. Take.
No, I don't know if
good
Scissor
defogger. It's a good defogger.
Nah.
It gives you finally something to switch into normal types and fairy types, which you don't have a switch in for either.
I think there's better fixes than Scissor. It probably
yeah,
from
but
looking,
a lot of things are
fixes
gone. A lot of the good ones are gone.
Yeah. I think there's better fixes.
What I will say as like my final word to this team, this team needs big improvements in the hazard department or the momentum department. You need to pick one of the 2, because I think you can.
Ferrothorn is available.
I think you can only pick one of the 2 because of the amount of traits you have, because I don't think you can fix both issues with just 5 traits.
Is Glamora available?
The one thing I really fuck with is Slowking plus Crybominable, because I love that combination, because Snow, Crybominal and Snow plus an AV is very bulky. And then you set up a Trick Room as well for it to be like faster than most things. Beautiful. But anyways, yeah.
I will say this as well. There was a reason. So when I was chatting to Ben, because we were considering a Lowland Sandslash, I was there like, I'm pretty sure Crabominal was better. Let me check with Ben. So like, I'm telling you now, Crabominal is definitely things to fix this team. Crabominal alone will get him some wins, I think, legitimately. And Saiga. I think Sack will make playoffs for this team, because it's not a perfect team, but it will beat some teams just on basically if you play it just right. And also Glare Hacks. We got Glare Hacks. We got Slash Hacks. GG.
There are some pretty trash teams in this.
I agree with that.
Division.
I think my team's pretty mid, and I think my team's better than every team we've seen so far. For context, I don't think my team's even that good.
Yeah. But that's Allison at number 13, which brings us to number 12, Freaky Slenderman. The person that actually stuck to the Terra for Alligator.
Bro, you think I'm debuting in Claude and using a Terry? I'm sorry. I didn't know I was getting
You are the
promoted when I
biggest
made that bet.
alligator
You're not.
fraud ever. You've drafted it twice and
No,
dropped it
no,
within the
no.
first week both times.
No, I didn't even. To be fair, it wasn't even drafted the first week. I mean, well, it was drafted, but it didn't play first week.
For the lot, for the
Yeah,
lot, for
I
the
literally,
lot.
I guess I don't know. I'm in Claude. I don't know. I can't. Anyways, whatever. Basics. Go on, Ben. Do your job.
This team is only missing one important typing, which is Ghost, but they have enough fighting type switch-ins. But only one normal type switch in, which is Jirachi, which is reliable, but you would maybe want one more. For speed tiers, the speed tiers look pretty good until you see that there is this immense fucking gap between Feraligatr and Mungus.
That shit barely matters.
Yeah, that one.
No.
That one I don't care about.
No, I think this one could actually be exploitable. And I'll tell you why.
Okay, let's run
Trick
through
Brain.
speed tiers real quick. Yeah,
Trick
that's so
Brain
far in
gets hard into
between.
this.
Oh my goodness, that's so far in between. Like, yeah, I get the sentiment, right? Like, if he plays the last Allison has a good match like Trick Room matchup into this guy specifically, right? But who else is really
And also-
abusing Trick Room?
And also 1,000 Arrow spam goes into this team too.
Okay, yeah, but we're talking about Trick Room
Okay, that's
specifically.
one matchup.
Yeah, but that's like one matchup.
Abominable goes in here too.
Yeah, that's the same matchup.
That's the same
I know.
person. Yeah, you just 3 months from the same person. It's nuts.
I'm just gonna state why Allison has a good matchup with every
I'm
team
trying to
now.
think about a lot, like maybe like. Yeah, I don't know, bro. I think the Trick Room,
There are
like the
other
speed tier
things
thing
to
at
be
that
mad
low
about
is,
with this team than
if
the
anything,
speed
you probably
tiers.
want something between the 92 and 78
No,
speed tier.
I
But like
mean,
after,
I think
Technically, that is exactly
exactly the gap you need. By the way, it's 14. So
no, yeah, no, yeah, I was thinking that too. But I'm just saying, like, I get to make it more visually appealing. I guess.
The bigger problem is you don't have a mon that is around 60 to 65. I will mention why that is a problem, because you let mons like Raging Bolt, Mega Scizor, Mega Heracross. Then there's other mons in the like Metagross.
Mega Heracross isn't a real mon.
Don't let them fool you.
That's the
Regular
fourth back
Scizor.
mon we've mentioned in this matchup, by the way.
Do not let them fool you. As a Sizzler connoisseur, you're running Adamant every week anyways, so don't let this motherfucker fool you.
I actually agree with Dakota on that point. Dakota has a
Like,
point
you're
there.
running-
And Mega Scizor, you're very rarely running speed on if you're using it.
Maybe
personally. That's just me.
like Magnezone, Aegislash.
Mega Heracross as well, actually. Mega Heracross does kind of go like hard here.
Heracross is a fake mon, and also on the same fucking team as all of the other things that you've said.
Yeah, and it's also
Hey,
probably
Ben
like
mentioned it first, not me. Ben mentioned it first, not me.
I'm just trying to look through the speeds here, and like, there's not really that many threatening things.
No, you don't give a shit about it.
How fast is
Terra Metagross is scary. Tyranitar Mega and Tyranitar. I'm going through it.
Nobody has Metagross in this division.
So actually get Metagross. There you go. Seismitoad. That's a
Mega, I guess.
Oh no, hang on. A Hydrapple can run Modest.
Nidoqueen is 76. Hydrapple, yeah. Hydrapple probably gonna run
anyways. Like, I'm talking more about
okay,
like monster.
The speed tiers are not the thing to worry about with this team. The thing to worry about with this team is the fact that you have no hazards.
Yeah.
Whoa, no hazards?
I don't agree on that.
You've got
the
rocks.
Are fine. Yeah, but no spikes is better.
I think that's all you need in Wooper, man. Hey, man. Don't let him fool you, freaking Slender Man. You're gonna win the season anyways, because you're gonna win the season. But, you have Jirachi and you have Crook, and then you have the rare Infernape. And I just think you need at least one hazard on your team with surplus end.
I do think the lack of spikes is a weakness. I think the rocks are pretty damn good. The rocks are great, if anything. Like, I actually think rocks are great on the team. I think the weakness is they probably could do with a spiker, but it's not the end of the world.
But it's like relative to your competition. It's like, also, I don't know. That's how I do it sometimes in my head. Like in Cloud, I'll be like more like.
I just want to say we are 1 hour in already, and we're on team 12.
That's normal.
Damn, I just joined. Okay. Well, we
She
got
stop glazing.
y'all gotta lock in. What do you mean stop glazing?
Anyways,
I decided to
let
join. I didn't know
me
what
let me
this
go over the offense real quick. Physically, we have Iron Valiant, Mega Absol, Infernape, Jirachi, Crook, and Feraligatr. Especially, we have Iron Valiant again, Mega Absol again, Infernape again, Zapdos, and Jirachi again. So,
Here's good.
a very good
Mixed
fact about
attackers.
this team is he has a lot of monsters that can go either physical or special or mixed.
Which is quite a nice thing to have.
Good mix.
Which
Yeah,
is
good
why
mixed
you want
attacker.
spikes.
Yeah.
No, I agree with.
All right. Yeah, your offensive core is good. I mean, and then you have good mons that have the good attacks with speed tiers to abuse it and keep the other mons honest. Let me see here. Good type coverage. They got a ground one, you know, fairy fighting. That's
Yeah.
hell.
Um,
Yeah, I think that's just a good team. I mean, good offense.
The only issue I see a little bit is that Zapdos is kind of more forced into a defensive role in this team.
Has to, yeah.
So your strongest
Yeah.
special attacker is Iron Valiant, and outside of that is Mega Absol, which more runs physical, and then Jirachi, which is also more a defensive Pokemon, and Infernape, I guess, but Infernape is very power crept already.
I will say this though, Infernape
Got
does
Terra,
now
though.
get nasty plots, so it can do stuff, and it is Terra Infernape, which is
Infernape's
a
always
lot
had
harder hit than you
nasty
give credit.
Infernape
It's
has
a
always had
plot.
nasty plot.
And
Yeah.
to be
always
fair,
had nasty plot.
Oh no, it
on
got
the
vacuum
physical
wave. Sorry,
side,
it got vacuum wave. That's what it got in Gen 9, which actually is quite good
It's
on it.
always had vacuum wave.
No, it hasn't
I
always
would
had
like
vacuum
to.
wave.
Yeah.
Let me
I
give you
played
one Infernape
nothing
got.
but Gen 4. It had nasty plot vacuum wave in Gen 4.
Where did Infernape get nasty plot and fact plot?
see, L
Okay.
management here. Okay.
The fuck?
Okay, hang on. Let me just double check. Let me just
Get it off. Get it off. Get it off. Get it off, Roy.
I swear it just got vacuum wave. I swear it
It's
just got
had them
vacuum wave.
both the entire time.
Anyways,
Anyway,
Such
it
an
doesn't really
easy
matter.
look up
Why
in-
was special?
Yep,
I got
it's had both. I hate to break it to you, it's had both the whole time. All right, back
Why
to
have I never won
the
that
scheduled
before?
back to the
program.
rankings. The defensive core.
So I do think, wait, before we go move on, I do think Zapdos isn't as punished as much as we think, just because like Crook has Intimidate, and like Amoonguss is always ran like Fizz Def, even though it's like 70 isn't appealing. So it has a little bit more leeway. It just depends on specific matchups. All right, defensive core, go. Sorry, I just had to like
So
get that off.
the little bit of the big issue I have with the defensive core is if you look at the defensive stats themselves, you have not a single mon with above 100 defense, and you don't have a single mon with above 100 special defense.
Okay,
Jirachi, Amoonguss, and Zapdos is the main defensive core here. Crook also kind of reaches into that. They don't share too many weaknesses, so it's pretty fine. But if we look onto the actual board, you do have some very glaring weaknesses. For example, ground, where you only switch in is Zapdos. Well, Zapdos is a reliable switch into ground types. A lot of monsters get ground coverage, also get rock coverage, which is, to be fair, sometimes they don't fit it, so it's fine. But you still have to be wary of that because, let's say you face a Mamoswine. You don't really have a switch into Mamoswine. To be fair, most people don't. But yeah.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
Then your best switch into ice types is only Jirachi because Infernape is not that bulky, and Feraligatr can be relatively bulky if you wanted to. But if there's like an Iron Bundle with Freeze Dry, you kind of get cucked by it.
That feels as much cope as J. Cota pretending he's not afford for dropping it.
Yeah, and you're only like you do have the fairy weakness looks worse than it is because Amoonguss and Jirachi are good fairy switching, so you don't have an issue there. So in general, I would say you could definitely improve the defensive core by getting like one proper wall for each side, but I think how your team is constructed is pretty fine. And then we get to
this team is an okay team.
Yeah. And then we get to the support where you obviously have very, very good knockoff mons in Mega Absol Crook. And then you have Cyclizar, which loves running knockoff as well, and Iron Valiant can as well. You have a lot of momentum, which is very good for this team. considering how offensively minded it is. Your removal is kind of weak because you only have 2 removal mons, and I don't think
but they're both really good at removing.
Yeah, but I don't think Cyclozar can come that often with how good some of the mons on this team are. But to be fair,
it does.
A thing that kind of makes the removal a little better is that you technically have a magic bounce mon, even though it's not a good magic bounce mon. Because Mega
I think the removal was almost.
I am first picking it next season.
No, I love Mega.
Okay, well,
Absol is my third favorite Pokemon. It used to be my favorite Pokemon for a long time until Gen 9 hit and King Gambit and Annihilate released. But
see the trend there.
But
edgy.
Mega Absol is not a good magic bounce mon.
Yes.
I will say this. I think Mega Absol is a terrible magic bounce mon, but I think the removal was good on this team. I think literally Cyclosar and like Zapdos is good enough. You don't need much more than that.
They should give Mega Absol sharpness.
They should, or something to make it a good mon again.
It is a good mon. My first pick next season. How dare you?
A lot of
okay. Well, when I play Rose and Poo for next season, because I'm probably gonna get relegated. We'll see.
So we're in support.
Yeah.
Now. Okay. Yeah. Wait. Like that was the conversation about support.
Yeah, they do have wish support, which actually doesn't like they don't need wish support too much because most of their walls get reliable recovery in Jirachi. Like Jirachi gets recovery, Amoonguss gets recovery, Zapdos gets recovery. The only like true defensive mon you want to wish for is Crocodile, I guess. And then obviously we've touched on the hazards. You only have rocks, so getting at least one spiker / T-spiker would be pretty good for this team, just because spikes can enable some things better than rocks can. Because for example,
you really want spikes when you've got so many mixed attackers.
Yes,
is my thing.
Also, a lot of mons that are weak to rocks will most often and not carry heavy duty boots. So having spikes sometimes is just better to like hit more mons.
Amoonguss could definitely be a rose.
Yeah, you could change Amoonguss to a rosary, but then you have like nothing for Trick Room.
Wait.
Yeah,
what?
actually, I think that's much. And also, your defense is much worse.
Yeah.
Nah, because then it's better in special defense.
Well, I think
I wouldn't use Rosary as a defensive mon.
The identity is clearly like hyper offense, right? Like with like some like so I mean I guess like you could like add some to like for your score, but like your identity, you're like you're filling the identity. Well, I'm assuming you're going for hyper offense here with like some like
I agree.
like some like
it needs spikes though.
Yeah.
I think it more so would have preferred like an Aurora Veil with HO.
I don't
like a Grimmsnarl
I don't
or something like that.
agree. I think hyper offense needs one of the two things. It either needs screens or it needs great hazards. This team has neither, sadly. While it does have screens in Jirachi technically, I don't think Jirachi can.
Screen.
I don't think Jirachi can run screens here.
Honestly, ditch Mega Absol for a dark type with spikes, and then there you go.
You've got a dark type
with spikes. No. Actually, ditch Mega Absol for one with spikes.
Just ditch Mega Absol. There you go. No. I mean, yeah, I think.
Add a ghost type with spikes. Add Frostlass. There you go. And it can even run.
The only thing I would say about like the hazard thing is because like I'm not really like as adamant and like stuck on it as like other people are, but that's just like me. I also think boots are a very like easily spammable item. So I mean, you have good knockoff utility, which I guess would be like a detriment to not having spikes, I guess. But like if you're gonna like try to like force a mon on your team just so you can say you have spikes when it doesn't feel good or like doesn't really fit the role of the team, then it's not worth it. 9 times out of 10, rocks will be enough. I feel like, especially like at the tier we're playing at right now.
Yeah, but
you have a really good spinner and defogger.
But I think
I will say this on the full yeah.
I think Roy's mentioned it well. A mon like Frostlass could fit this team pretty good actually, just as a suicide lead basically. And from there on out, you can do other stuff offensively. Like this team exerts a lot of offensive pressure, and where people oftentimes don't have the ability to click a defog or a rapid spin without getting punished. So having spikes would definitely improve this team a lot.
And also Frostlass
Bramble Ghast.
as well.
Bramblegast
isn't much
is
over.
the same cost as Mega Absol.
Yeah, Bramblegast or Fossils, I think fits the
It's
team better.
genuinely just straight up better too. Low key, you could just pick up the Bramblegast. But
I also say this as well on the heavy boots, duty boots spam. Like what I get Jakarta's point as well. I think that's also you can also use that to your advantage because if you know that the other mon is heavy duty boots, you can basically go right. Well, I know it's not scarved. I know it's not banned. I know it's not life. I know it's not this. You can basically whittle down what items the mon is running very quickly.
Okay. No, yeah,
I'm
I
not saying it's
agree.
bad.
But I'm just saying,
I'm not
in
saying it's bad.
Wooper, all you need for that intel to start like punishing is just one
It's
hazard.
spike rocks. Yeah,
It's
exactly.
just one hazard, and rocks is the most consistent hazard because it also hits the flyers. So
I don't know. I'm becoming more spikes filled, but also to be fair,
that's fine.
my
But like
hazards are bad. So
rocks
anyway,
is
so I can't really
objectively
complain.
more consistent than
Yeah.
Anyways,
worst team in your div.
Anyways, this is.
I mean, I have the
number
yeah. I
12,
mean, I'm not going
Freaky
to say my
Slender
hazards
Man.
are shit on my team, so I'm not the
I
person to start against.
oh
I have two. I have
oh,
two
oh,
rockers, and my rockers are worse than theirs. So I
talking
can't
about
criticize
me.
this team's
Oh.
hazards. Even this team's hazards are better than mine.
At number 11, we
Terra
have
That's 'cause
Blastoise
this
fraud
team's-
alert. Oh my goodness.
This
Okay,
team has minus
one
points. For one reason, this team has one Terra Captain, and it's a fraudulent Terra Captain.
Yeah, I'm in the camp of if you have one Terra captain, that is always a mistake. Obviously, there is also a limit to that where if you have three Terra captains and two of them are 1 pointers, you effectively have one Terra captain. But yeah,
Respect Terra Wishcast.
This team.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Terra Wishcast does not count as a fraudulent 1 pointer. Apologies.
Okay.
It's not 1 pointer.
Let me get.
Or does Perugly? We'll get to that.
Let me get into the
Perugly's
team a little
fraudulent.
bit more. Typings wise, you're the only important typing you're missing is Ghost, because the others are not necessary typings. But let's see if the Ghost matters that much. You have a very good normal type switch in a Celesteela, probably one of the best actually. And for fighting type switches, you have Clef, and that's basically it because Thunder T is not very defensive. And Rosalia, while it can take a hit or two, it is prone to knock.
That's just coming like one
Smacked
week.
by knock.
I would say this. I actually think they could do with a fighting type just to help with their rock weakness, but that's about it, really.
Wait, low key. Okay. Message when you watch this, low key. Why do you have Terra Blastoise? If you need help, because you have like a Donphan right there and a Komala.
Yeah, this
And I guess Torn if you really want to run Defog. So like, surely you're not drafting a Terra Blastoise for offensive use. Not in the big 2020. No.
I will say this, and I'm going to and this is not well, actually this is meant as a slight to Wooper. He's in Wooper. If it's a division you can get away with Terra Blastoise offensively, it's probably Wooper.
Terra Blastoise is just. Okay.
I agree. I've drafted Terra Blastoise.
You can
by the way,
save
and I'm
4
with you on this.
points by
Yeah.
drafting Terra Crawdaunt instead.
Yeah.
Just max
Actually,
it.
yeah.
Sure.
Unironically, yeah. Actually, that's kind of true.
Terra Mamoswine is one there for 1 extra point. Oh my goodness, please.
Anyways,
Okay, anyway, sorry.
For the other basics, speed tiers wise, you have a pretty important gap between Greninja and Thundurus. That means Pokemon from 116 and above will run Adamant or Timid. I mean Adamant or Modest. This entails some mons like Iron Valiant, Roaring Moon, and Cinderace, which are pretty fucking big threats.
I'm gonna say it now. And like Loki, the new meta is having like 2 plus 110 mons on your team, and working off of that. I feel like, as I've learned,
like
there's such great speed control.
I think you always need to have a mon like the speed tiers. You need a mon between 100 and 105. Then you need a mon between 110 and 115, and ideally you have a mon that's 120 or above.
Okay, Bolton.
I mean, a real mon, not Bolton.
Okay. Offensive core. Yeah, I couldn't take that seriously. We got Greninja. We got
serious, don't worry.
Thundurus.
Okay. Let me get into the offensive core real quick because there is a little bit of an issue with this team in general, offensively. This team doesn't have a mon that immediately slaps you in the face except for Thundurus. The rest of the mons need either items or setup to be like immediately, okay, I hit you in the face.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. That's
because his highest attacks that
can...
Pokemon is Donphan. And the next highest special attack stat after Thunderous is Celesteela. While he has a lot of good setup offense, like or item offense with Greninja, obviously Battle Bond, Protein, Choice Specs, Life Orb stuff. Then
it's meant to be a BO team anyway, so like.
Then you have Gouging Fire with Dragon Dance. Obviously, you can also carry a Choice Band if you wanted to. Blastoise with Shell Smash is a thing. Kamala's here.
Sure.
And I will say this. Shell Smash Blastoise can work physically or specially. The actual most success I had last season was physically Smash Blastoise.
Then we have Celesteela, which obviously also needs setup to be a big threat with a Meteor being automized set, or you need to be specifically invested to have the boosts in either attack or special attack, which are to be fair easy to do on Celesteela. And then you have Donphan physically offensively, but it's more of a I'm gonna rapid spin and I'm gonna be the rocker. And then you have Clef, which can technically do Life Orb, Magic Card stuff. So you have a lot of stuff on paper, but a lot of stuff needs some kind of setup or item to work.
You know what you do with this team?
Thanks, Chiquita. Save me time.
You know what you do with this team? You drop your Blastoise and you pick up Terra Crawdon, and then with that extra 4 points that you've got, you pick up fucking Terra Haunter or something.
Extra 4 points. Huh?
I actually don't hate that. Actually, that's Terra Haunter's fun.
Or wait, hold on, what? Hold on, because Blastoise is how much? 15, right? Let me really. Oh, okay, let's see.
Blastoise, to be fair, I think is 15 because it can be defensive, and I think defensive is actually.
I'm not. Well,
Blastoise is 15.
It could easily be 14.
And Terra
So what you could
Crawdon
do
is 11.
So what you could do is drop the Terra Blastoise, right? Then you can Terra your Donphan. That's 12 points. Now you have 13 points more for a Terra Captain. And then you can literally pick any 13 or below.
You pick Crawdon because Crawdon is a good breaker and provides a water type.
Well,
yeah, you need the water type.
Well, I don't think he needs.
I'd argue there.
I actually they got Greninja right there. Never mind.
I'd also argue, if anything, Blastoise losing the Terra probably helps. They probably need a special breaker, if anything, to help support the gouging and the Thunderous.
Wait! I have a Mon that actually is kind of fire on this team. Tyrantrum Terra.
Oh, that's fun. I like that.
Wait a minute. This team doesn't have a Mega. Just put Mega Pidgeot. That breaks with Thunderous.
Cook! Oh man, that's a great take. But on a serious note,
guys, this is the last time Rose is ever on the Clodcast for glazing Mega Pidgeot.
I picked Mega Pidgeot and dropped it in Graze.
Terra the Donphan, drop the Blastoise, and then you pick up a 13-pointer. What 13-point? There's a Terra Ogie Dogie right there. That's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. There's Terra Celebi, there's Terra Crawdon.
Cleavor.
Terra Cleavor. Yep, good call.
Terra Swellow. Terra Normal Boom Blast.
I guess.
Actually, I actually like Swellow because it's mech.
I did say Terra Normal Boom
Blast.
Cool.
Honestly, Terra Normal Boom Blast sounds awesome. But yeah, I actually think Swallow actually works quite well because it can do both. Which kind of suits the team. Because you can tailor it to the matchup.
I don't know. I really fuck with the idea of Tyrantrum on this team as just you slap a Choice Band on it and click Head Smash with Terra Rock.
True.
And you're not banned, so you're hit.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I really do think though, because
even a Terra Hariyama is great on this team.
Okay.
It's not a bad shout, Mom.
All right.
You can show with that one.
Here's my thing. You drop the Blastoise, you give Donphan the Terra, you have a defensive utility Terra Captain. That's good, because on certain matchups you want the defensive Terra more than you want the offensive Terra. And then you pick up an offensive Terra.
Lucario.
Damn, I don't. Arcanine, I
Lucario's
guess.
a fun.
Arcanine can kind of be 50-50. You can use it offensively or defensively, which is kind of nice.
I would say Lucario works. Sandy Shocks is goated. Sandy Shocks I will
Oh wait,
always
no, never
stand.
mind.
That one is
Never mind. You
goated
need
terror.
13 points. You need 13 points. I lied. I do think your best options are Ogie Dogie, Crawdon, Celebi, Arcanine Terra, and then
There's a Tornadus Eye there.
Tornai is pretty meh. We've used that before. It just doesn't do stuff. I mean, it was on the same team as it. To be fair, we had it last season. Sack had it. I will say this:
No.
Sack had it last
Tornai,
season, and it was outclassed by a lone Sandslash by a long way.
Respect my NU Go. I was using that shit next to Gator.
No, Torn does get Defiant. But it doesn't get
respect my ball knowledge.
Its best physical offensive flying move is Acrobatics.
I will say this:
sick offensive.
You can make that work, actually, to be fair. But I also stand by. Sack had it last season and barely ever brought it because the Lone Sandslash was so much better.
Okay,
and that was
but
like 4
that's
points.
just a Lone
And it also has
thing.
Prankster. It also has Prankster utility. Shit.
I get the Tauros Paldea Aqua Terra.
Also, there's Poltergeist there as well, which is
a
ghost type for. Anyway, yeah.
Sum it up.
Pick
one of those two.
The same shell
pick one of those two
category.
You pick one of those 2 Terra Captains with Donphan, or one of those whatever other options with Donphan, and you improve your offensive and defensive core all at once. Anyways, defensive core. Start it off, Ben.
The thing I really like about the defensive core is the defensive situation with Celesteela and Gouging Fire, because they bounce off each other almost perfectly defensively. Like, any weakness Gouging Fire has, Celesteela resists or is neutral to in the same way around. Like, if you look at Gouging Fire's weaknesses, okay, like, Gouging Fire's weaknesses are ground, okay, Celesteela is immune to that. It's rock, okay, Celesteela is neutral to rock. And then you have Dragon, which Celesteela resists. And then for Celesteela, we have Celesteela's weak to fire, 4 times resist. And they both 4 times then here we have the electric weakness, Gouging resists electric. So yeah, they bounce off each other pretty well. You add to that, like, a Donphan, which can take hits physically pretty well, and the Celesteela, for obvious reasons, is there. The Gouging is there. Then the Clefable you add to that, which also is very good in combination with those. I will also get that into support with the Wish, because this Wish support is pretty important.
Wish is important because the others don't have reliable recovery.
Yeah, Gouging has Morning Sun, which is good outside of weather. In weather, it's shit, but I don't think we have a single weather team in Wooper this time, if I remember correctly. So, your Morning Sun will all, except for like the Chili on Allison's team or whoever has Glow King. But yeah, I think in general this team bounces off each other defensively very good. There is a few issues, like in the special defense department, because its best special defensive mon is Blastoise at 105, and then it's Celesteela at 101. So that could be a little improved, but I think in general the team balances off each other defensively pretty well. And then obviously I've mentioned the Clefable for support already, how this Clefable supports the team with Wish pretty well. You have some very reliable knockoffers. Clef can click knockoff, Donphan can click knockoff, and Komala can click it. Thundurus probably does not fit it pretty well. You also have some decent momentum. You have Teleport on Clef, you have 3 U-turners, and you have a Flip Turner. And then the hazard setting is very good, and you have the best removal so far we've seen. You have 3 Rapid Spinner and a Defogger. The only thing
we don't need Kamala, but it helps with some stuff. Like,
I think the one thing this team could maybe get is like a mon that can set up screens reliably, because like bulky offense with screens is fuck all annoying to face. And then you also technically you can also go for screen support with Clef. So this team works pretty well. Like, this team is very good in some spots and very bad in some spots. I think it rounds out to like a very mid team. The only reason it is at 11 because it is tied with some teams, and this team has the lowest basics of all of these teams. Cool. But yeah, let's go to a team Metas ties with, which is Tron.
I think this is a pretty solid team for the most part.
I want to know why this team doesn't have Iron Boulder on it. This team should have Iron Boulder on it.
Can you explain why?
Yeah, it's got Tapu Lele.
Why does Tapu Lele mean it has to have Iron Boulder?
Because Iron Boulder goes absolutely fucking nuts on Psychic Terrain.
Is it? I'm not trolling. I'm generally actually like I've not actually thought that combination. Generally,
That was one of the combinations I gave to Jakoto to potentially draft for me when I was not around for drafting.
I might have to try that because I do like Iron Boulder.
Anyways,
yeah. Let's get into the basics. You're missing two important types, which is a normal and a ghost type. Missing a normal type is pretty important here because your dark type is Hydreigon. While Hydreigon is bulky enough to switch into ghost type moves, it has the problem of being 4 times weak to fairy. And these days, a lot of ghost types do get to fairy coverage. So you cannot call Hydreigon a reliable switch into ghost types. Not having a ghost type on this team is pretty fine though, because you have a shit ton of fighting type switch-ins and 2 very, very good to decent normal type switch-ins. For speed tiers, you don't have any big gaps except for Heatran to Vikavolt. Which I've mentioned again, like having him on in these 65s is nice. 65s to 60s is nice, but as Jakoto and Rose have said, it is not too important. But yeah, these are the basics. Roy, you
Oh, this is the guy I helped. Hey.
Sorry, 1 second. I got to try back someone. Sector. So I did help a little bit with suggestions for this team as well. The offense is fantastic on this team. So we have got Terra Neuven and Terra Vikavolt, especially. I know I'm starting especially here. Got Hydreigon and Tapu Lele, Heat Rankami and Nuke if you're not running defensively. And physically, you've got Extra Drill, Leafeon at a push. Hydreigon can be offensive, though you physically, though, again, pushing it. Mega Glade, and also in Wooper, someone bought Swords Dance Technical last season and 6-0'd.
So of those 6, 5 of them are real.
Swords Dance Technical is real. Don't listen to the lies.
Let's see. Oh yeah, so I remember because he had Indeedee originally 3rd round. We dropped that
Yeah.
shit. We had to work around something. Obviously, Extra Drill isn't the most ideal thing without sand because you lose like 2 abilities that you have or whatever. But it's still a physical
fine
breaker.
mon.
It's still good. Yeah, it's still
It's
like
a
a
good
good mon regardless. It's just a slower
And
treads at that point, but you hit harder.
And also,
But
it
you're
does
like,
punish your teams. It does punish teams as well. It does punish certain mons as well very well with Earthquake spam into them as well. If a lot of their like answers are like
Surprisingly
levitate
bulky
as
as
well.
well.
levitate mons, yeah. If your levitate mons are your answers for ground types, then you get cooked by this mon even more. Rapid spin with that speed tier is always good. It's like a free like slot that Xkajou can bring literally every single week.
Yeah.
So that makes
I
it
would
a
say the
good
had.
spinner.
Yeah. I think where the team struggles a bit more is defensively, because defensively is a bit weaker. Like Leafeon is not a real defensive mon. Let's be real. It's the best ones that defend is best defense stat,
That is a
but you're
lie.
not bringing Leafeon. You're not bringing Leafeon to like defend. It's not. It's
Owns Woger. Holy shit.
yeah.
Leafeon has some really important good matchups into say your
Woger.
Zygardes and Woger and
I don't know how much about Zygarde because if it's a sub coil set, you kind of get fried.
And also, Zygarde does now get bug coverage as well. It gets Skitter Smack.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's deck.
No, it does actually get that now as well. But I don't.
It's freaking hilarious.
The offensive core is amazing.
I will still say this. Leaf on it is still a good answer to Zygarde most of the time.
The psychic spam on both sides, physical and special, is really hard to deal with because you have a grounded, you have the grounded Galay and then you have Tapu Lele, obviously. Those are just 2 mons that nuke. You remove a lot of priority options like on the physical side, which kind of like Mach Punch, for example, sheds on Excadrill, Heatran, Hydreigon. Sucker's just
Shadow
obviously
Sneak
a good
as well.
move. Yeah, like Sucker's obviously a good move to just dodge Shadow Sneak, like Roy just said. So that also helps into the offensive utility because you're more free to like set up or take risk with your HP or whatever it may be because you may not be like as prone to getting revenged by a priority move.
Ice Shard as well would be a bit of a problem for this team as well in some matchups.
Um,
Sucker especially blocking as well is quite handy. Though I work because also as well the one mon that would be one of the mons that their main resist is off the ground, but Sucker blocking is quite handy because it would otherwise be quite spammable into this team.
yeah. Anyway,
For
defensive core.
death wise, Tentacle is quite a good defense for Deathmon. Heat Run is good on both sides, and Thicklefold can be very bulky if you invest in it right.
And it's a
But
Terra
it is
captain too, so it's
it's Terra Category. It can definitely even when you're offensive on Thicklefold, you can actually if you go Terror Electric, because then it's got no weaknesses unless you got like let's say for example a Mold Breaker Extra Drill or Mold Breaker Haxorus, it's got no weaknesses.
yeah. Defensively, you just have to get creative more so. I don't think it's that bad. You just have to
Yeah, it's
kind of
just
get
weaker.
creative with your. You
I
just have to
think
get creative with your defense utility and stuff like that, because you can run Hydreigon semi-tanky. You can run Heatran, obviously semi-tanky. Vikavolt is also an option for that. Tapu Lele is also an option for that, even though most people don't run that. But you can easily run like Ruination, Nature's Madness is the I'm trying to think of the name.
Yeah,
Nature's
Nature's Madness
Madness,
is what
like
you're thinking of.
Psychic, Moonblast, Spam. Let me see here. Leafeon, it's certain matchups, like if there's a Wolgar on the other team, like it can't set up ever, so that like limits like the threat of it. You get like Rock Sub, you constantly like chip it because the only option it would have to hit you for real is like U-turn. You get good healing as well, like Leafeon gets Synthesis, Hydreigon gets Roost. I think Northern gets Roost as well, I'm not 100% sure.
It does.
Oh, and Leafeon gets Wish as well, so in certain matchups you can use that to your advantage. Good knock Mons also plays into defensive utility, in my opinion, because removing boots or whatever, or like a choice item that just opens you up more, disables them like from setting up more if they get into kill ranges earlier than they anticipated. But obviously on paper it's a 5.5, but you do have the potential to get creative with your defensive core. It just comes down to like how you optimize your mons, is what I'll say. Okay. Support. Does anyone wanna?
Yeah, let me get into this support.
Yeah. Okay.
You have 3 reliable knock clickers because yes, Leafeon can click knock off reliably. You do have a mon that can set up Trick Room for Vikavolt, even if it's not the best Trick Room clicker. You do have Wish, which is not good Wish, but it is Wish, nonetheless. You have decent momentum. You have Noivern, Hydreigon, Vikavolt, Tentacruel, and technically also Gallade, but you rarely click Teleport on Gallade. Your removal is probably the best one so far. You have one okay-ish defogger and one good defogger, and you have 2 great spinners. Your hazard setting is also pretty good. You have 3 monsters that can reliably click rocks, and you have a T-Spiker. Would this team prefer having a Spiker as well? Yes, but I can see how you didn't fit one.
Not as egregious as the
Honestly,
fully mixed offense team not having spikes.
For this team specifically as well, I do think Sticky Webs holds infinitely more value than spikes because it disables like the necessity to run like agility on Mega Gallade for certain matchups or something. Because if you can just get that like fake +1 on the Mons, you can just click Swords Dance more freely and get to attacking rather than like having to try to manage a double dance situation.
It also really is helpful for things like Excadrill cleaning after a rapid spin. You're not going to have anything outspeeding it after that.
You have a lot of good cleaners on this team, I'm not gonna lie. Like even like a Noivern with like Terra Normal Boom Burst or whatever.
The one thing I would say could be improved about this team, maybe get a ghost type somehow to stop people from removing the webs, because you don't have anything that spin blocks here.
No, yeah, I know. We try to low key. Wait, I don't even remember telling him to actually
Bramblegast.
No,
I don't remember telling him.
Like I think Leafeon is in the same tier as Trevenant, isn't it?
Yeah, I think I told him it was between Leafeon and Trevenant. He could make the decision, and I think he just wanted Leafeon. So I was like, okay, fair enough.
I think Leafeon is overall a better mon, but I also this Terra Ghost I think about is an option in some matchups.
let's see. Let me see. Let
Actually,
me reveal
Trevenant,
the.
is a
Actually,
point, Trevenant is 1 point more than Leafeon. I don't know if he has a point over. Let me check.
But I think he had a point extra though.
he did have a point to spare, actually, I think.
Not anymore.
No, he doesn't have a point
No, not
extra.
anymore. Oh wait, what
Yeah,
did he change?
I would say Leafeon's probably the best you're going to get first points.
Wait,
So I
no,
don't
no,
think
no, no, no,
Eldegoss is
no,
particularly good. I will say this Terra Ghost Thickervolt
Oh yeah, no, no,
is
no, no.
definitely. I would say Terra Ghost Thickervolt is definitely probably something you might be able to bring in some matchups as well to spin block as well.
It's
I
not the
guess,
biggest
yeah.
necessity either, because you also have mons that can abuse somebody wasting a turn on spin, because you just have like raw natural power, and like mons that can also set up. So it's not like the biggest deal in the world, but obviously it'd be ideal. But like it just really comes down to like using your Terra Captains creatively, because you do have two very good like mid-tier Terra Captains, like probably two of the best ones in my opinion. So
I agree with that, especially for what he's going for.
yeah, so I don't know. I think your team's good. I did help build it, so I might be biased, I guess.
You definitely
I
are.
think this
think
team
it's
is.
fine.
The team is
I
good,
think it's
but I
pretty
think
good.
this is
you
okay.
are
No,
glazing a little
it's
bit.
good. No, no,
I
I'm
don't
not
have
glazing
issues
it.
with this like I have some of
No, I'm
the
not.
some of the big issues with other
I,
teams that got this kind of score.
I think for
This
someone's
was
first
one of the
attempt,
ones that I was less critical of than
It's just because like also
the
part of like
others.
the issue that they had was like they drafted Indeedee round 3, so like their whole draft was put behind like a whole round.
I think for
So
someone's first attempt, this is a good draft.
yeah, exactly. So
Yeah, I
that's
can
their
agree
first
with
draft.
that.
I'm not gonna be hypercritical of
But
them over a first draft.
Anyways, yeah, that is Trot at number 10. Which brings us to number 9, which is Riptide. Just
this is a
0.5
weird
better
draft.
in basic, so that's why they are 9 above Trot. It is a weird draft.
You know what we
He has mentioned
said.
it as
You
well.
know what Rose. Let me just say this as well. You know what Rose said about basically feel like his mons were picked to just basically check off types. This feels closer to that. I know it wasn't done that way, but this feels closer to that. Looking
Okay,
at some of the mons.
Let me get into the scores real quick, and then I want to rant about this team, okay? Because I have a big issue with this team, and I have told Rose about it.
Hang on. Ben, pause. Is it because they have an Napoleon and you don't?
Hey, shut the fuck up, first of all.
I have an issue with this
Hold
team,
on.
and that issue is that Chiyu is a fraud mon. But that's
Okay,
fine.
let me go over it real quick. Typings wise, you're not missing any typing and that is important. Only Ghost, but you have enough fighting resists and normal resists for it to not matter. Electric types could be nice, yes, but they are not necessary typings. Speed tiers are also pretty decent. You do have a gap between Earthworm and Thwacky, and I don't think Thwacky runs that much speed most of the time anyway, so it's more of a gap between Earthworm and Meloetta. Is it a problem gap? Kind of, but I think it is okay on this team specifically. And yeah, then to the offensive core. Physically, you have Sneasler, you have Dragonlance Latios technically, you have Gliscor technically, and you have Enam T technically, physically. Especially gets a lot better. You have Latios, you have Chiyu, you have Meloetta, you have Empoleon, you have Enamorous T. So this team has a little bit of a physical offense issue, but the special offense is very good on this team. Then for the defensive core.
Yeah, the physical.
You have the core that I wanted in Gliscor and Empoleon. Thanks, Rena. I will remember that. Anyways, yeah. Gliscor and Empoleon bounce off each other perfectly, by the way, with their weaknesses and resist. So, that's obviously a big plus point. Then you add to that like an Earthworm that's also, at least physically, a good wall. Meloetta can take special hits any day. Then ENMT is also very bulky. I think the defensive core is a little underrated, to be fair. We might have been a little too harsh there, but there is some obvious like weaknesses here on the team. Defensively,
Rip loves running Assault Vest Meloetta. It's like his favorite set. I think he ran it in something like 6 out of 6 or 7 of the weeks.
AV Meloetta is real as fuck though, so I don't.
It's
I
very
don't blame
good.
him.
Yeah,
it's so super. It's probably its best set to be honest. I don't really see how else you would use it.
And the support is also pretty decent. You have 2 mons that click knock reliably because Meloetta doesn't click knock all too often, if any. And then obviously you have the Thwacky, which is kind of a issue mon for me personally. I will get into that in a little bit when I get to my rant. You have Healing Wish, Enam, which can in a pinch save you a game. You have a lot of momentum and you have very good hazard setting. Now, let me get into the issue that I have.
Before you go on to that, I do want to talk very, very quickly about something that I just noticed before I forget about it.
Mm-hmm.
I know what your point is. Is that I can see him bringing Relic Song at some point because it does help break with the Sneasler, with the double physical fighting types. Yeah. So that is something that can potentially come as well that we didn't really touch on. So he does have a second offensive physical type. Yeah.
I can smell the rant from a mile away. I think I already know what it's about, but
yeah, it's a good rant. It's a correct rant.
Okay, there is two things I have very big problem with on this team. One, you have Sneasler, which is a good mon in itself, but your terrain mon is fucking thwacky. You really want to run that little fucking shit over something that's actually reliable? Like, what is thwacky doing for you except putting out the grassy terrain? It's like it's like drafting a Pincurchin, but Thwacky's worse. Because Pincurchin at least can set up hazards.
Okay. I actually respectfully disagree, because Grassy Glide Thwacky can do some damage.
With,
but
with the 85 base attack stat? You're kidding me?
With Sword Stance, yes. Sword Stance.
Okay,
I still think you're right, by the way. I still think you're right.
How many opportunities do you get with this? We give a Pokemon to click Sword Stance?
Lots of EVO, and also I would say this: Thwacky's a 2 out of 10 mon. Pincurchin's a 1 out of 10 mon.
No, draft Tapu Fini. I'm not gonna lie.
No.
Tapu Fini. No, Tapu Fini's
I'll believe her.
With it.
I'll believe her.
Tapu Fini. No. I'll believe her.
Tapu Fini has minus synergy because of misty terrain.
Yeah.
Then you just don't rely on luck. You play like a real hooper. You play for pure damage. Run that gun.
Sneasler if you're not going to use Diaclaw? Why? What? No.
What? Because it's a good mon without the need of luck? Oh my god, Roy's a nasty player, bro. Roy's a nasty player. What do you mean? Why am I drafting? It's still a good mon without it.
No, it's still a good mon, but if you can use Diaclaw, why are you not taking advantage of it? Why are you not taking advantage of the advantage you get? It's like,
okay.
Hang on. Let me listen to debate. Here's the debate. Okay. Why do people run Sludge Bomb over Sludge Wave? Because Sludge Wave does more damage.
It's for the chance. No. But that's not even the debate. The debate is, would you rather have a consistent way to proc? No, you're just saying thank you. You're not even hearing a rebuttal. Would you rather have a consistent, real way to proc Unburden, or would you rather just not have that and run Dire Claw so you can like play the lotto? I'd rather have the real way to.
I'd rather have a better. I'd rather have a one that synergizes better, like Indeedee or Arbeliever. I wouldn't go Tapu Fini. Tapu Fini's negative synergy, and what is better than Thwacky? I don't think it's a good fit.
Okay, anyways, then you can do Arbeliever, but Arbeliever isn't even consistent.
Real quick, I'm almost done.
Yeah, sorry. Apologies. Sorry.
The other massive fucking problem I have with this team is the hazards are so fucking amazing. So why the fuck do you not have a Rapid Spinner? You only have default. You're gonna remove all of your fucking good hazards.
Yeah. That's
like a singular spinner would carry this team a few points higher already. Just because you have this massive fucking hazard setting that is so fucking good. But no, you ruined it all by not getting a spinner. And Thwacky fucking sucks. I will stand on that.
Okay. Right, so going back to the debate, like on the Diaclaw thing, I just want to say this: you want to take Diaclaw gives you basically an out, and you want to take advantage of that if you can. It's not like relying on hacks, but by the way, literally, what is the emoji I won for winning a BTL? It's literally Diaclaw saying hacks. But yeah, Diaclaw, you want to take advantage of it if it's allowed. I'm not saying you should solely rely on it, but you want to take advantage. That's why Missing Ring doesn't work with Sizzler.
But you significantly I'm not trying to be like, but you significantly rely on hacks more than the average person thinking, like in their prep.
I do not. That's actually not. That's not true.
Roy, I have never seen
Ignore
someone
what-
consistently consider hacks in their prep more than you. I can put that on like everyone's life on this server. There's not a single soul
Okay.
that thinks more about hacks
Right.
on a day-to-day prep basis than Roy. Orge
Alright.
Fuecoco. Bristol
I will-
City bewares.
Okay.
Beware
The
of
counterpoint
hacks.
is the counterpoint
Anyways,
is I
let-
do consider the hacks, and that's why I don't get hacks as much.
Anyways, let's cut this debate a little short. Rose, do you have any more thoughts about this team?
Not really. I think that Chiyu shouldn't be on this team because Chiyu's fraud and you have other breakers.
Honestly,
Okay,
no,
so
Chiu's fine.
first-
I like Chiyu. Here's what you change. You change Thwacky, you change an Atmospherian, you add basically like either Indeedee or Arbeliever, not Misty Terrain, and then that way you have like a setter that also the reason why I prefer grassy terrain with Arbeliever also means you might live the odd weak ground hit, I guess. I think that's copium, to be honest.
I don't know. I don't like Arbelieve as a consistent grassy
It's
terrain
not as
setter.
consistent, but it's
Yeah,
better than
I don't-
Thwacky.
yeah.
And I'll say this: Arbeliever hits.
Yeah.
Arbeliever Terror's a very good mon.
What
Well, not
I,
very good,
It's
but
very
good.
annoying. It's just a very annoying mod. But
What
yeah.
I would suggest,
if anything, I would just do Indeedee.
Drop Thwacky for sure. Get something that is not whatever the fuck it is. And maybe drop one of your special attackers for a physical attacker. Because you're very reliant on
That's
To
Sneasler.
drop Chiyu. Chiyu's fraud.
Draft.
Do not drop
you need a
Chiyu. Chiyu's
spinner
fine.
so badly. I'm not gonna lie. This shit is so ass.
Yeah.
without a
Honestly,
spinner.
what physical spinners are
It's
good
like
offensively?
okay,
left?
here's the other issue. If you have a lot of great hazards, and then you just don't have a spinner, I feel like you low key might as well just not have hazards, like to that extent. To that extent, you might as well just not have it to that extent.
Or you just run boots and just don't bother running the defog. You just go like, right, I'm forcing you to remove my hazards.
Ah, nice.
Yeah, but there's no ghost type.
I'm forcing you to remove my hazards, and I can't punish your rapid spin.
You could get Delmice.
Yeah, low key, Dumbass is such a fire mon.
Yeah, I guess emphasis. I didn't actually know we got that until like this week.
Like
Delmice,
get Delmice or Bramblegast and just fix the rapid spinning issue and then get, I guess, Indeedee.
you might have to drop the fuck out.
You
I don't
drop
really
the
know.
Chiyu. I'm telling you.
This is hard to no. Well, you are low key. You do kind of drop the Chiyu without rapid spin, but if you can fit a rapid spinner, you can keep it. I don't know. This is hard. I don't really have all the points.
We're not even in the
like,
second
doc
half
in
of
front of me.
this PRs yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, did we do support?
Anyways,
Yeah,
we did.
support.
Let's get into the
Yeah.
second half.
Next person.
Number 8 is Paypick.
Hey.
Top 8 performance.
First of all, typings wise,
Honestly,
he has every important typing. You can
Yeah, because he has every fucking typing.
except
except
ice.
ice.
Wait, that's true.
Yeah.
nice.
Speaking of teams that just have every type, because why not?
Yeah.
I would say this.
Rose, I know
Swallow
we'll get into it
at one
later as
point
well.
is fine. Swallow at one point is fine as like a copium pick, and I like Swallow.
Swallowed is
by the way.
not the issue here.
Swallow is not
Swallowed
cool.
is
it's
fine.
Oh, I think I know where you're going, and I
You're not
kind of get
talking
it, but
about
I kind of
Cricketune
disagree.
either. You're not talking about Cricketune either.
I know which one they're
So,
talking about.
Speed tiers are pretty fine. You have you don't have any big gaps except for like 65 to 89, but only a few mons in there that are very dangerous to you.
Well, that's okay. This one might be more of an issue because let's be real, that Cricketune not coming.
Yeah.
And the Swallow probably rarely comes too. So then you have
Swallow
a gap
comes one
between
match
like
season.
84 to 29. Oh,
Yep.
that one's a little more. It's scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say
but-
this: if Swallow runs no speed. Swallow never runs speed. You never run speed on Swallow, so it comes. Yeah. So basically,
yeah,
it's
that's what I
like,
mean. Yeah.
point.
So yeah.
You
Anyways,
can run
continue,
enough
my bad.
speed to outspeed a 45 mod.
Yeah, no, we're
I
losing
don't
the
think you ever
plot
do.
here. Sorry, Ben.
No. I've used
Anyways,
I've actually used Fallout. You never run speed, trust me.
guys, let me just run
Yeah.
down everything, and then we can talk about the team after, okay? That's how we speed up this process a little bit, because we're almost 2 hours in, and we're team 8. Anyways, yeah. Okay,
For
offensive
record.
core. Physically, we have Roaring Moon, we have Ogre Pawn. Wellspring, we have Arcanine Hisui, we have Great Tusk. Specially, we have Kilowattrel, we have Golden Go, and we have Hatterene. Then for the defensive core is Great Tusk, Miltank, Hatterene, Swalot. Yeah, what the fuck is that? And for support, we have a lot of reliable knockoff. We have Trick Room, we have Healing Wish. The Trick Room's only abuser though is really Hatterene. Momentum for a very offensive team is pretty weak. You only have 3 momentum mons. So that's actually pretty fucking weak considering your team is very, very offensive. You only have 1 spinner. While it is probably the best spinner in the game in Great Tusk, you have a huge issue that you don't have any other removal, and
Said probably.
while Great Tusk likes carrying Rapid Spin, it is an issue that you only have 1.
It can... No. The issue is that he only has 1.
Yeah.
Because like sometimes you need the backup and the matchup as well.
Yeah, and your hazards are pretty decent, but you don't have a mon that is necessarily a hazard stack mon, which you would very much like with Golden Go. Well, you do have mons that carry rocks reliably in Great Tusk and Miltank, though. Ogre Pawn can sometimes run spikes, and Swallow can sometimes run T-Specs, and then I guess there's the Sticky Webs with Cricketing too. So, what is this team basically? It's all gas, no brakes.
Yeah.
Which might be a problem for Pate.
And while this team is one of the more offensive teams that actually has hazards, an actual hazard stacker would benefit this team a lot. And I mean a lot. Because
I get what you mean.
Wogapon, there's so much on Wogapon on this team. Wogapon has to be a bulky offense set in like every matchup because it's doing so much of holding this team together defensively.
Yeah.
That it can't really hazard stack.
Yeah.
And it's also not really a carry.
Yeah. The problem with the Wogapon is as well, it is the only reliable water type switch in. Because
And ground.
Yeah, and
and ground.
Yeah, and ground. So what is the issue here? The Ogre-Pawn will have to be more of a defensive role, although it's an offensive-minded Pokemon. So your Scald switch-in is Ogre-Pawn. Your ground-type switch-in is Ogre-Pawn. Well, you could switch in Kilowattrel. Kilowattrel gets fucking annihilated by anything else. So yeah, you do have some issues. Obviously, like, 1 remover is pretty ass for your team. Because while it's Great Tusk, and I love the shit out of Great Tusk, but you want a backup of some sort, please. And like,
Can I go on a slight rant here myself a second?
Yes.
About Great Tusk. Great Tusk should always be offensive, and yes, it can get away with running Rapid Spin every week, as Jakarta will probably point out in a second. You want to be Great Tusk's best sets are usually being offensive, hence why you want a backup spinner, so that way when you want it to be offensive, you don't have to have it with spin, and you can get away with like something like Scarf or something else like Booster Energy Bulk Up, and then you can bring the backup spinner.
This ties into my biggest issue with this team, which is that while Swalot is a perfectly fine budget Pikmon, this team fucking hates opposing hazards, both spikes and T-spikes.
Yep.
T-spikes ruins this team.
Agreed.
So what could you
and
do
like
fix
you've
this?
got Hatterene, I guess.
Yeah.
But still.
Like you have to get every hazard like turn right with hat to like make it so like you're not getting superly oppressed by them, and then that also means you like would have to bring hat as well to most matchups, which I mean it's a good mod. So
I'm trying not to shit on Pate, but Pate's not very good at making reads often.
Let me think.
Sorry, that's mean. I know.
So
No,
what could you
okay.
do to fix this team a little bit? I don't think the Miltank has a strict place on this team. It is more just, okay, it's a filler mon, a normal type, and a 100 speed mon. I don't think this
It's
milk
the
I know.
mon that you're running rocks on
actually,
almost every week.
Yeah, it's your rocker because you don't really want to run rocks on Arcanine, Hisuian, or Great Tusk, if you can help it, like a lot of the time.
Yeah. What can you do to fix this team
It's
a
the
little bit?
rocker.
You could get a Fortress, a Gligar, or an Omastar for hazards and a backup remover.
I like Fortress a lot here.
Yeah.
Uh,
I know that it's not great for the speed tiers, but I feel like you need to find a way to like ditch Kilowattrel and something else for like that Rotom wash that's sitting available.
Yeah, I don't hate that either. That's actually, I know it does fuck up the speed tiers, but I think Rotom Wash actually does help this team a lot.
He has the basic formula of 2+1 Zenmons.
Actually, no, Rotom Wash. Actually, no. I mean, yeah, okay. You are tiny.
Yo,
I
Rotom
think you
Wash
probably was
going
20, but
undrafted is absolutely fucking nuts. This may be
I feel
Rotom
like
Wash
this
went
is good.
undrafted in 3 different.
Oh wait, wow, this is
freaking-
nuts. Yeah, wait, what the hell?
Yeah. Generally, think I feel like this video when it ends within like 2 hours, someone's gonna draft Rotom Wash.
We've suggested it to fucking everybody in Wooper.
Yeah. Just basically who
I
listens
don't
to us.
know
Though.
how Rotom Wash is so
It's so-
good, especially in Wooper, because people just won't deal with it properly.
Ben, did we run through all
Rotom Wash is
the
fantastic.
main points?
Yeah, we ran through all the main points.
Yeah.
If anybody
Alright.
wants to hate, they can hate real quick. I've said my piece.
Um,
I think this team needs someone very skilled to use it, and not saying this horribly, but Pate, you're gonna have to improve on previous seasons to use it well. I think it's a good team though, but you
I
need
don't
to use it well.
I don't even think it needs someone that's super skilled. Like most of these mons are like low key, like brain dead. I do like think that it's like just hard to pilot in general, cause
Yeah, this team
it's just
is
like so many mons feel forced into roles is my big
Yeah.
thing,
not
and
only
you just need
that.
to like
It is also a
alleviate the stress.
It's not only that, it's also an HO team, which obviously makes for some issues because, like, you look at his special defense, like, it's Hatterene and Ogerpon because Roaring Moon is not really a special defensive mon, and physical defense, it's all Great Tusk because his Miltank is probably only coming to set up rocks.
Okay, on Miltank, as someone who used to love Miltank, Miltank was one of my favorite mons to pick as a budget normal type in Gen 8. In Gen 9, I think it's been very power crept. I tried using it recently, and it just did not work. It just didn't live stuff like it used to be able to live super easily.
Anyways, let's jump to Team 7,
Anyways,
which
next
is
one, yeah.
Iger. I'm gonna
This is
go.
my
Fire
opponent
profile.
this week.
Yeah, your opponent week 2. Let's go over it real quick. Typing wise, you're the only really important type you're missing is Ghost, but you have enough normal type switches, but not fighting type switches. Your only fighting type switch is Screamtail.
Poison's a bit of a problem as
That's
well.
a good fighting type switching.
That is a
It
good
is,
fighting
but
switch.
it's your only fighting type switching, and you're weak to basically poison as well as a typing because poison hits Screamtail super effectively.
Yeah. So let's say somebody has an Okidogi. This Okidogi just slams his team completely.
Or a Sneasler.
Yeah. Riptide is gonna.
So if they bring Thwacky, if they bring
Or any of the Nidos.
Sneasler,
yeah.
Thwacky Sneasler goes into this team.
So this team is not only fighting weak, it's also poison weak, it's ice weak, and it is ground weak. And it's also pretty fairy weak.
Yeah, actually no, the ground weak. No, hang on. The ground weakness is even worse because I've just noticed that your ground resist are Toucannon and Meow Serada.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Speed tiers are fine.
I love
no
Toucannon, but
big
no.
issues with the speed tiers. But the typings are horrendous. I'm not gonna fucking lie. Offensive core.
Yeah.
Physically, you have Miascarada, you have Iron Treads, you have Palafin, and you have Toucannon. Specially, you have Glamora, Raging Bolt, and again Palafin. So, special offense is definitely a thing to improve upon because while Raging Bolt and
You've
Glamora
got
are
competitive
very,
wiggly tough.
I guess so, yeah. While Glamora and Raging Bolt are pretty good special attackers, there is like you maybe want something that is again a backup because sometimes Glamora is in this lead position where it leads, sets up all the hazards and dies, and then is all on Raging Bolt. So you kind of want to avoid those things. So maybe a backup to that as well. And the fact that your strongest physical attack as Palafin is good, but the next strongest one is 2 Cannon. To be fair, Meowscarada is very good, even with 110, because protein.
Mm.
And Flower Trick.
Yeah. Then for defensive core. Your defensive core consists of Screamtail, Iron Treads, Alomomola, I guess 2 Cannon, and Wigglytuff. So, we've talked about it already. Like, there's way too many weaknesses on this team for the defensive core to get anything above a 6. While I think some of your mons have a good synergy, like the Iron Treads works very well with Mola and Screamtail. There is definitely some huge issues there, obviously, as you can see, with too many fighting weaknesses, 1 resist. Too many poison weaknesses, like 2 resists / immunities. Same with ground, and then fairy. So basically, your Glamora and Iron Treads have to switch into every poison type and every fairy type. Which is kind of an issue.
I hope they don't have coverage.
Yeah, better hope they don't have coverage. Let's just say there is a Tentacruel with a sword stance up.
Oh no, eyebrow. No.
I think there's a
Taking a
better
break from
example than this.
I'm taking a break from this one specifically. Now.
I think there's better examples
Yeah,
than this. Like,
there's
say,
definitely better examples. That's just the first thing that came into my
Enamorus
head.
that has access to like Earth power.
Yeah, exactly. Enamorus with Earth power destroys this team.
That's a far better example.
Yeah, I don't know why Sword Stance Tentacruel was the first one that came into my mind. I'm sorry for that one.
Hey, to be fair, that was a semi-final set in Wooper. Let's be fair on this, so it can work in Wooper.
Like again,
But actually, shit, yeah, it does.
Okie
It actually does go in here.
Okidogi and Sneasler as well. Like, this team has way too many holes. Support-wise, this team is amazing, though. You have a shit ton of knockoff mons. Not the most reliable mons on some parts, but a lot is good because you can click it often.
You know what team this reminds me of? This reminds me of whose team was it? Was it Relicant's team?
Gamers.
Last season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which should never have gotten promoted, and I still don't know how it did. But
hey, he made finals. That's all he needed to do. For support, you have a lot of knockoff. You have wish passing on 3 different mons. You have a good amount of momentum and very, very good hazard setting. Removals kind of adds basically treads because 2 Cannon is kind of forced. But yeah,
there is something that isn't really covered here that this team does really well, which is actually para spam.
Yeah, this team actually does para spam pretty well.
Which is something that is not easy to see immediately, but is something that is actually quite decent.
I would never do that because I'm not a Haxie player, but I think that is a very good strategy. That's rude. There's no need for that. There was no need for that.
Anyway,
Jakota's muted. Somebody had to say it.
Yeah. Anyways.
Okay. That's why I said it. I will just say this is a team with a lot of weaknesses, but I think it's a very good team. And if they are a very good player, they're probably going to win Wooper.
Yeah, they could. I think there's definitely improvements to be made. Like, I don't know what Wigglytuff is doing here. I might be so real. But anyways,
Wigglytuff is here for competitive.
He's here for good vibes.
He's here for good vibes, exactly. That brings us into number 6, which is Rose themselves.
This is a team here for good vibes.
So Rose is not missing any important typings. That's pretty good. Speed tiers are also very decent. One little gripe: there's no mom between Scolipede / Perugly and Dragapult, but I think that's fine.
I think that's
a speed boost. It's fine.
Yeah, and the rest of them and the rest of the mons are like in good speed tiers, like no big gaps there.
And plus, Perugly gets agility, so.
Perugly's never running fucking agility.
I love Perugly.
I don't even know if actually. By the way, let me just check if it actually does. I was just chatting shit then. Does it actually get agility? No, it doesn't. Okay.
Anyways,
I was fucking around.
The basics are very good. Obviously, every typing is filled out with a mon that is good or at least passable in that typing. And the speed tiers are also very good. Now to the offensive core. The offensive core physically consists of Dragapult, Scolipede, Landorus, Tauros, and Bisharp. Especially it's Dragapult again, it's Landorus again. Then we have Rotom-Heat, Terapagos, Sylveon, and technically Blossom because I know this will put in work somehow.
I will say this, and this is not a
My
very
bet
good thing.
one.
Velocian, I do think Rose is probably going a bit too high with the bat, but Blossom in the right matchups can sweep thanks to Quiver Dance with Terra Blast.
Yeah.
Not only that,
It's
also
my
a strength
bet, man.
sap.
I only need to hit 7.
Oh, you can do that easy. Oh, is it 7? Oh, yeah, you're
Yeah, it's 7.
You play Pay probably at some point, so that's 6 kills there.
Does
Anyways.
Pate have anything with Haze?
Oh, no, Pay ain't going to run it anyway, so yeah, you're good. You can bring 6 out, Mons.
Anyways, for the defense is a little bit of an issue here because your defensive core consists of Rotom-Heat, Bisharp, Sylveon, and Terapagos, I guess.
Counter Wave Terapagos is not a defensive mon, it's an offensive mon disguised as a defensive mon.
Yeah. You have one switch into Psychic types, which is Bisharp, and as we know, a lot of Psychic types do get the move that is called Focus Blast. So, you better be careful around that.
Also, some of them get Vacuum Wave now.
Yeah.
Well, you say that, but also Sylveon exists.
Yeah, you also have Sylveon, but Sylveon gets cucked by the Psyshock, so...
Yeah.
It's not the big. Honestly, it is a weakness, but it's not the end of the world
Yeah, it's
weakness.
not
You
the
can
end of
probably
the
work
world.
around it if you're smart.
Yeah.
You can just Terra. You can also just Terra Dark your ugly and you're fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Or I can, like Terra anything the Bishop.
Yeah.
Well, then you're tearing out your Dark type, so that's the problem.
Yeah.
Or even Terra Dark Bishop doesn't care about Focus Blast anymore because it's so tanky.
Yeah, I would say your special defense is definitely a lot better than your physical defense, but your physical defense is hard carried, I think, in my opinion, by the Eviolite Bisharp. Because that 100 is quickly improved to a much higher stat, so...
I will say this, though.
I also have Intimidate Tauros as well.
Yeah, true.
I was going to say this, I think we've underrated the support because Sylveon really does help Bisharp with the actual Wish healing. That's actually a very good pairing, and Terapagos as well.
Yeah, I wanted to say not only it does not only support the Bisharp, it also supports the Terapagos and the Rotom with the wishes. How often you get those wishes off actually is a different thing. But you definitely can. It definitely can do it. Knockoff support is also pretty good because I think Perugly and Bisharp can click knockoff reliably. Lando not so much because it's more of a special attacker with sheer force. But I think like on some sets you can't fit it. Momentum is also pretty good. You have for you turners, you have a Volt Switcher, and you have a lot of Baton Pass actually. But don't pass stats.
Yeah, no cheating.
Don't be that guy.
I have also just noticed, I now know why Wigglytuff's been drafted. I can't believe Aga's trying to counter Team Euros.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Disgraceful.
And then, of course, like, your removal is actually pretty good. You have Rotom-Heat, which is a reliable defogger, and Terapagos, which is a very good spinner, and you have a backup defogger in Lando. So that's pretty nice. And then your Rock...
Lando's fake defog. Lando's, but it's still good. I agree.
Your Rock Setter is mostly going to be Bisharp, I think, because I don't think Terapagos and Lando can fit it often with their 4 move slot syndromes. And I guess Scolipede can set up spikes very well, but if you don't play it in the like offensive speed boost sword stance variant,
you can do a suicide lead. Like
the other thing with Scolipede as well is that sometimes if I want it for like momentum and setting up spikes and stuff, I'm not going to be running speed boost so that I can bat and pass and get momentum as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can run Focus Dash and Devil leads as well.
Yeah, I do like the fact as well that you have a T-Spiker with Dragapult because that makes Hex free. And we've seen how some people struggle into those, so...
I will say this as well. Landorus,
also, it's really good coverage on Rotom as well.
Yeah.
I also think Landorus is also running Stealth Rock more than it's running Defog. But Terapagos nearly 90% of the time runs Rapid Spin, in my opinion. Actually, way more than Great Tusk, even when offensive. And you just run it boots a lot of the time. And also, like, Rotom-Heat can just fit Defog on a lot easier thanks to Sylveon. So I think the hazard control is actually pretty good. I think the hazard control
also don't even need to run removal in some matchups because a lot of the mons just are fine with running boots.
Yeah. Also another thing we've seen with how little some people have hazards. Actually, you can just run leftovers to wrap. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, easily.
But yeah, I really like
Funny.
your team. Personally, it's a top 3 team for me. But like the overall defensive and support might have dragged it down a little bit.
I just want to kind of see what Pergly does because I'm kind of curious because Thick Fat plus a 1 point budget Terra normal type. I'm kind of curious what it does if it does anything.
It's also got Defiant, guys.
Yes.
Okay, now I know what it does.
Anyways, number 5 is Midness. Has every single type. And he has 2 water types.
Which I like. Actually, I do. I will say I do like that because Primarine having a bulky water type with Iron Bundle is always a good shout.
Yeah. He has a pretty crucial speed gap between 110 and 90, though. I will say that because there's, again, some bonds you don't want to run positive natures on. I've talked about this a shit ton already. But yeah, otherwise there's not too many big speed gaps there. You can see, like, there's some small ones, and then there's Primarina to Colossal, which could be crucial in some matchups, but probably won't be. And then there's Latias to Iron
108
Bundle.
is a really big speed too.
Yeah, then there's Latias to Iron Bundle, which is also not a lot of mons that are between 124 and 136, so I think you're fine there. For the offensive
You have
core,
things like Jolteon and stuff.
yeah.
But yeah,
And Bolton.
you're right.
For the
Fucking
offensive
shut
core,
up
you
about
have
Bolton.
Annihilape, you have Mega Scizor, and you have Bombardier. Especially, you have Iron Bundle, Latias, Rotomo, and Primarina. Especially a lot better than physically, because physically you're relying a lot on the Annihilate Mega Scizor combination. Bombardier can be pretty nice in some matchups because it has pretty much triple stab with Rocky Payload. I also really like
It's such
Bombardier
an
versus in
awkward.
general.
It has
It's an
such an
awkward
awkward
mon.
speed tier for the attack. Like its attack is just too little, and its speed is just too little, and yeah, it's a bit weird.
Honestly, it was a mon I was considering drafting because I wanted like a dark type. But I just, yeah, it's just its stats are just. If it was one or the other was a bit better, it'd be a lot better. Like a mon I'd be willing to try out. But I just looked, I was like, nah, it's too mid.
I get that, yeah. Then for the defensive core is a lot better. We have Greedent, Clodsire, Colossal, Primarina, Mega Scizor, Rotomo. Even Bombardier is pretty bulky for what it is. Annihilape is pretty bulky. Latias is pretty bulky. So pretty much the only mon that isn't bulky on this team is the Iron Bundle. So I think, like, defensively you are set up pretty well. Maybe we could have even increased the defensive core, but like there's some mons that are like niche defensive options. For example, like the Greedent is a niche defensive option. Then Bombardier is niche defensive. Prim is a good special defensive mon, probably not so much physically. And Colossus is very reliant on the Terra. For the support,
The thing that I don't really like in terms of the team, in terms of like basics, and actually this comes more into support. So talk about support and then I'll bring it up.
Okay. For support, we have 2 knockoffers, which can both reliably click it. Scissor better than Bombardier, but yeah. You have Healing Wish and Wish, which is pretty cool. They come from the same Mondo, so be a little careful there, but it works. You have a lot of momentum, which I really like on this team. And you have a lot of hazards, which is beautiful. Like, this is probably the best hazards we've seen so far, except for, like, the Glamora team. And
why is that great, Ben?
Amazing.
What mon does that help with?
It helps the Annihilape
Bundle.
That bundle too, but I mean Annihilate, yeah.
Also, you also have a pretty good spinner if it is Terra in the Colossal.
All right, this is where I want to jump in because, like, Annihilape can run rocks, sure. Sometimes, if you're running like a bulky set. We've already talked about how Bombard is really awkward, and you never really have space on Clodsire for more than one hazard, really. Which means that given that this team really wants to set up hazards, means that it really wants to be rapid spinning, which means that Colossal's coming almost every week,
But
which is, I think, one of the awkward parts about this team, because you've got mons you would rather be bringing.
Yeah, I get that, but I think it's also fine because Colossal, when it terrors, is a very good defensive mon, actually. And
It is, yeah.
And
it's just a bit weird.
It can also like
I
provide
don't know.
some
Every
hazard,
week is
like
kind
the
of
hazard
crazy.
that Clodsire does not provide. What I think is so great about the hazards though is that with the amount of hazards and Annihilate being one of the most remover punishing mons ever because it has Defiant and it is a spin blocker. Yeah. This team just does a lot of things right. I think it is at least on the physical side, it is a little too reliant on Mega Scizor and Annihilate. But I think in general the team is fine. I think the Terra choices are a little weird because I feel like you're gonna have to Terra Colossal more often than you will have to Terra Primarina.
Okay. I agree to a certain extent, but I just don't think that the team is like overly reliant on hazards. And as a result, you're not really forced into the colossal spam as much as you like.
Yeah, of course, you're
guys are
not
making it
relying
out
on the
to be.
hazards, but it is very nice on this team
No,
specifically.
I mean, obviously, no, that's not okay. That's not even. I'm saying they're nice, obviously, but I don't think just because they're super nice doesn't mean that like you're forced into bringing colossal spin with Terra every single week. Sometimes
Yeah,
it's
not
okay
every
to just
single
have.
week, but
Sometimes it's okay. You just need a hazard rotation like once, and then you can just like start defogging. It's like okay, once everything's in kill range, it's whatever. Like at this point, like yeah, some extra chip might be like valuable, but if it's in range of like a certain thing that I was looking for anyways, then like it's okay for me to defog here with like a Rotom
yeah.
or like Mega Scizor, I guess. Um, as a result, I do think Primarina Terra can come more than you guys are making it out to seem. But I don't know. That's just my opinion. That's all I have to share for that.
But I really like this team. I fuck with that they picked up Bombardier, even though it's a weird pick.
It's a good, cool mon, very cool mon, yeah.
Anyways, that is number 5, Midness.
Next one, yeah.
Which brings us to number 4, Eternal.
Pretty good team. So minus points to me
very
for one Terra Captain, but at least it's a good one.
Yeah.
A very one.
Whoa.
Let me get into the typings. They're missing a normal type, which is actually not too bad because they have 3 ghost resists in Garg and 2 dark types. They don't have an electric type, but again, electric type is not necessary. But the one big problem they do not have a fairy type. Why is that a problem? Your defensive, like your steel type, is King Gambit, which is obviously 4 times weak to fighting. And if there's any dragon with fighting type coverage, you get cocked pretty hard by the dragons. Obviously, you can
ground
go Terra,
coverage actually.
Yeah, obviously you can go Terra Grass, like Terra Fairy Sinistra, to make that work, but you have to get in Sinistra safely in first for that. The speed tiers
also they also
fine.
have. Sorry, 1 second. You missed one other thing as well. Because their steel type is King Gambit, they only have 1 fairy resist, which is a Monkey Dory.
Yeah. So that is also kind of an issue. I think the Sinistra will make up for that a little bit with, I think it would be Terra Fairy very often, but again, it's the problem of having to switch it in first. Offensively though. Physically, it's Torn T, Mega Medicham, Lando T, Hisuian Samurott, King Gambit, and Garg. Especially it's Torn T again, it's Monkey Dory, it's Lando T again, it's Samurott can technically be special, yes. Then Sinistra, and there is Shell Smash Turtonator, even though it's still slower than everything else. Yeah. Then for the defensive core, the defensive core consists of Lando, Sinistra, Garg, Turt, and King Gambit. I think it is pretty fine, but if we look at specifically the special defensive stat, there's not a single mon above 90 in the special defensive department, which is a huge issue. Because special offensive fairies will go into this team very, very hard. which is a big problem for you.
Why did this get an 8?
I think we
What, the
did
offense
overlook.
or defense?
Honestly, I think we did overlook basically the fairy weakness
I think
because they do have solid defensive pieces, and they do also have like Torn Eye that's very good defensive, Landorus Theory that's good defensive, King Gambit that can be good defensive while being offensive, and Garganackle.
the one reason I think I gave it a high score is because he has a lot of mons you can slap an AV on. Lando,
Mm.
Torn, King Gambit can all carry AV with no issue, basically.
Samurai especially can run. Samurai can run AV too,
Yeah,
and he
Samurott
can even like
is...
tack on a. Yeah. I will say in niche matchups as well, it can tack on air slash as well, and it gets kills as well with it because of sharpness.
Yeah. There is obviously things to improve because a lot of the defensive mons also don't have reliable recovery except for like Torn T and then the Sinistra plus Garg. So there's definitely some things to worry about. For your support, you have all of the mons that have knockoff can click it reliably. You have a little bit of momentum, could be a little better with how offensively minded this team is, to be fair, but I think it's fine. You have a Trick Room mode that King Gambit and Turtonator can abuse if they want to. And then we get to the hazards, which on first glance it looks pretty bad, but you have a Samurai Teisui which gets free spikes when it hits Ceaseless Edge.
I don't think the hazards are an issue here.
Yeah. And then the removal, like you have Torn, which is amazing defogger, and a backup defogger in Lando. And then your only spinner is Turtonator, which is not a reliable spinner in my opinion. One, it is weak to rocks itself, so it has to carry the heavy duty boots oftentimes. And it's also a low tier mon. So I think that is a little bit of an issue, but I think it is okay. The one big problem this team has, I think in my opinion, is that this team would really like wave support. Especially for something like Lando and Turtonator and Samurott, which would really appreciate it.
Well, honestly, just like a spinner, like a better spinner than Turtonator would really help too.
Yeah, I think this team can work with how it is. I really like the how this team works offensively together, but there is some issues obviously.
Looking at all of the teams in this division, I just want to get Mammoth Bone.
If they could save some points somewhere by like dropping or like replacing a mon of like relatively like similar role but like a lower point mon, and like you could tear like the Monkey Dory as well or something, and then like drop the Turtonator, right? Like that shit's really not coming. Well, I guess it could.
I mean, honestly,
the Turtonator.
Honestly, Monkey Dory is a fraud mon anyway. You might be able to tell the Turtonator depending on points.
That's 4 points.
Tell the Turtonator is probably better than Monkey Dory anyway, so.
Okay, I like when people casually lie to the audience that are trying to learn the game proactively. Oh, well, I guess Terminal was a COD player at one point. My bad.
I would say this. That is not a compliment towards Turtonator. That was more a slight on Monkey Dory because I think that mon is a fraud.
Well, Terra is definitely not a fraud, but I'm not going down this road right now. Let's see.
You can lie to the audience. It's fine.
Anyways.
No, but like honestly, like tweak some things, and you can make this. This team probably is one of the best teams. This team is probably the best team in the division. You tweak a couple of things.
It's not.
It's not.
The best team in this division is not even close.
Yeah, I think there's
if you tweak a couple of things.
Teams, but we will get into it when we get to number 1.
I might have forgotten because I did do the rankings a while ago, so I might be forgetting a team that's so much better.
Yeah, but we have Terminal at number 4. Pretty solid team. A few things could obviously be fixed, like get a fairy type, get a better fairy resist, and I think then you're good. But yeah. At number 3 we have Mystic, one of the GDL people. So let's get into typings. You're not missing any essential typings. Fire type could be nice for a secondary fairy resist. Offensively, fire is pretty good, but it's not necessary. Same with fighting. Like it's nice to have offensively, but it's not necessary. Species wise, you have a gap between Jolteon and Kyurem, Jolteon and Zorak. I mean, which can be a little annoying, but it's okay. And the rest of the speed tiers are very fine.
I will say the only real weakness I've noticed is like they do struggle with freeze Draymond sometimes.
Yeah.
Just because their ice resist is mega more well.
Yeah. Then for the offensive core, we have physically Zora Kasui, Kirim, Tsarina, Mega Mobile, and Rhyperior. Especially we have Jolteon, Zora Kasui again, Kirim again, and Slowking plus Vaporeon, which can be offensive in niche situations like Vaporeon with a Calm Mindset and Slowking with like Trick Room Nasty Plot bullshit. And I also think the Terra Captains were picked pretty well. I think Terra Rhyperior is amazing. And Jolteon, obviously getting Bolt Beam coverage with Terra is pretty good too.
Yeah, I think it really helps this team as well.
Yeah.
Because it gives this team an offensive mode as well as a slow mode, which they do very obviously have a Trick Room mode, we can see here.
Yeah. For the
Rhyperior is really good.
For the defensive core, we have Mandibuzz, we have Tsarina, we have Mega Mawile, Rhyperior, and Slowking Galar. This is basically Vaporeon as well. This is like basically the defensive core. I think Vaporeon here, Vaporeon holds a pretty big weight together with the Mandibuzz on the defensive side. Of course, Slowking helps with that as well. But I feel like it's mostly carried by Mandibuzz, Vaporeon. I feel like they will come very often. Slowking will be more of a little bit offensive, a little bit defensive mod, not fully defensive.
I think
a lot on this team.
Serena can also be defensive as well if you're EVing it right.
Yeah, of course.
It's not the best, but it does as well.
I mean, the same goes for Mega Mawile and Rhyperior. They can also be defensive if they want to, but like you have a Terra Rhyperior, which is I think leans more into the offensive side with Terra, but they obviously can be very good defensively.
I disagree.
They really didn't like that they had the Terra Rhyperior. They've been trying to get rid of it the entire time.
Oh wow!
Really? I think that's a really good Terra Captain.
Yeah, same.
Mega
I think
Mawile,
actually was so well.
I guess could come defensive. If you ever run it defensive, you're like removing a significant amount of its value. I don't.
Yeah, I don't see.
You just
Mega
run
Mawile
max
defensive mod
HP and
ever.
call it a day.
I kind of agree, but I've also seen sets where people run Mega Mawile on a very defensive spread, but with sword stance to make up for not having the offensive investment.
But that feels like, and I'm not to like basically like raise so long that we want to as well. That feels like Terrapagos and Greatus, where you run it with a load of bulk to set up.
Yeah.
You're still not running it to be defensive. You're running it to be offensive. You just put defensive EVs in because you can then set up.
Yeah, I guess
that's not a defensive check.
Yeah,
if that makes sense in my opinion.
For the support, you have 3 monster click knockoff reliably. Zoroark is less reliable because it leans more to the special side. You have Wish support, which is very good. You have a good amount of momentum. I would say the hazard setting is very weak, considering Mega Mawile doesn't like running rocks. Rhyperior can if it needs to. And same with Slowking. Most of the time, it prepares other moves to Toxic Spikes, but it can run them.
For your removal... honestly, I draft just to cut off on the T-Spikes thing. I draft Cloaking more than anyone, and I think I've run Toxic Spikes on it twice in my entire lifetime.
Yeah, like Slowking more often than not likes running other moves, especially with this team where the Trick Room mode is like very obvious with Mega Mawile Rhyperior. For the removal, Mandibuzz is great at removing, and Serena is also a good backup remover. But I think like one more remover would be completely ideal for this team. But I think it's fine with where it is.
I think the removal's fine. Great. Yeah, I think the support's great. I think honestly the weakness, I think again another hazard set is way more important than the removal. Because obviously Serena and Mandibuzz do the job. Like they do the job just fine. Like
yeah.
And both get recovery too, so you can keep them around. Serena doesn't mind running boots, because you can then just run Synthesis. Same with Mandibuzz. Both knock off as well, so good utility mons and get momentum.
Rose, Jakoto, any other points you want to mention about this team?
Not really. I mean, I feel like
I just think it's a really good, nice, visually appealing team. I mean, you do have manual Trick Room and Cloaking, so.
I was going to say there's a world where you probably, like, potentially want spikes if you're going the Trick Room route, like, just so that you've got that option. But I don't think it's, like, too egregious or anything.
Agreed.
I think honestly 2 rockers would be fine if the rockers were ones that liked running rocks more, because I feel you want to bring Rhyperior on. That might be what they want to ditch Rhyperior, by the way. It might be because they want a spiker or something, which kind of makes some sense.
Maybe you get another. I don't know. The team's good. I don't- like I feel like I'd
always
be
bad team.
nitpicking at this point.
I think the only weakness is the lack of spikes. I think otherwise this is a very good team.
Yeah.
I think
Or like
spikes
Serena
or better roster.
for
an extra
Brambleghast.
Serena for
or an
Brambleghast. There we
extra
go.
Actually, yeah,
defogger. Maybe you could drop like I don't know. I was gonna say maybe drop like Terra Jolteon. Well, no, you can't add the Terra Zoroark. Never mind.
no, I mean,
Dun,
I hate Brambleghast. I hate Brambleghast. I think Serena's a much better mon, but for this team, Brambleghast actually fits better.
Yeah. Anyways, that is Mystic at number 3.
Good team. Yeah, just a good team. Yeah. Shout
At
out
number
you,
2,
Mystic.
something nobody probably
Oh my
expected.
god.
Savage Raccoon
Oh,
of all people.
that means
Such an
I know.
such
Oh,
an
I know who's
ass
first.
character.
No. The
He's
whoever's first is
Louise.
even hilarious. Okay, no, just a pause. Mr. If you watch Fantastic Four, you will be surprised. You will be surprised. That's all I'll say. I actually was shocked by
No,
the
no, I'm talking about in the game. I'm talking about in the game.
Oh,
This
in the
is
game.
the picture from the game. Well, he's
By-
actually good
I'm-
now, but
By the
anyways,
way,
this is off.
Pate gave me the wrong logo. He has his old I think Miami something Palafin logo. Pate gave me this logo, so I just put it in.
That's tough, bud. You just got
If
to
you
suck
want to
it up
blame
for this
anybody,
PR.
blame Pate.
Yep.
I always blame Pate.
guys, if you're watching at this point, please spam Pate
This
with
is a nice
Ping
team.
Pate.
Yeah.
Whoa.
And Ping
the
Pate saying
team's
blame
good.
Pate.
So, he's not missing any
nice
types.
example.
He has every important type. Like, the only one he's missing is Ice, and Ice is not a necessary type at all. Speed tiers are very good. No big gaps. Nothing you can really complain about. So, maybe Basic should have even been higher, but then he would be above the number 1 team, and then I can't do that. With good heart, I cannot do that.
Damn, bro. This is rigged. Rigged point system. No, we just admitted it.
I agree.
No.
By the way, I actually agree with this. I actually said
Uh,
legitimately in PRs is like, no, if this is the best team, we are ranking it as the best team. It's not like Pate's got the best team, so we're going to downvote it.
well, okay.
Then, for the offensive core, physically we have Garchomp, we have Linoon, which will come with Belly Drum at some point. We have Quaquaval, and we have Rampardos. Especially, we have Gengar, we have Ribombee, we have Xurkitree, we have Magmortar.
Oh, circuitry stats are nuts.
Yeah, Xurkitree's stats are nutty.
173 is crazy.
Special attack is so insane.
And yet, it couldn't even
so
solo
crazy.
a Charger
Oh,
Bug.
hell no.
Yep,
Okay, that's quite funny.
Yeah, I couldn't even solo. How high does it rank in that stat?
I think it is second or third
1, 2,
highest.
3, 4, 5.
I think it's second.
No, it's 6.
Oh, yeah,
Mega
I was higher.
Alakazam, Kyogre, Primal,
Oh yeah, I wasn't
Deoxys
counting
attack.
them. I was like counting without megas.
Oh, without Megas, it's number 1.
No.
Oh wait, no, number 2.
Okay.
Number 2. I
yeah.
think only the Deoxys attack is above it if it's without megas.
Yeah, that's nuts. Shout out Circuitry. Anyways, continue before we glaze Circuitry
Yeah.
for too long.
Then the defensive core. It consists of Garchomp, Uxie, Corviknight, and Terravolchian. And I wanna say Terravolchian is an amazing defensive Pokemon. I've used it before and I really liked it with Terra.
It's really annoying, yeah. It just lives forever.
I think it's going to depend on how he uses it, but if he uses it correctly, he will absolutely dominate Wooper.
Yeah, this team is like definitely a team that can definitely be very, 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 very high.
This is a really good team. Yeah.
Creative as well. It's creative as well. It's not like ones you normally see together, but it works.
Yeah, like you don't see Magmortar often, but Magmortar fits on this team for some reason. Then as like Xurkitree as well, kind of a niche pick for most people, but I think it fits here because like if you look like at the Pokemon it can hit ground here pretty well. Like you have a Quaquaval which deals with everything Xurkitree basically can't deal with except Charjabug. But for the Charjabug you have Magmortar.
Yeah. Oh, and Rampardos.
Yeah. Then to the support, you have a lot of knockoff mons. Like I love that you have a lot of knockoff mons.
Damn.
Do all of them click knockoff reliably? No, but you have a lot of them.
1, 2.
Momentum support is very good. Hazards
3,
are
4.
also pretty good because Uxie can set up the rocks, and then you free off a slot on Garchomp to set up spikes. Gengar's can also run T-Spikes pretty well because Gengar most of the time actually only needs 3 moves. Like it's actually not that bad. Also have, I think, probably the best defogger in the game in Corviknight, then you have a backup one in Ribombee, And you have a spinner in Quaquaval, which doesn't run spin often, but it can if it wants to. You also have sticky webs. What is
It's
the issue?
good.
What is an issue here? Maybe a wish to support Garchomp and Yuxi a little. And Volchain, I guess, too, because Volchain's recovery is Leech Seed.
But if you use it right, you're probably
nitpicking, though.
okay. I will say this is a Chinese nitpick and not affecting my rankings at all. They had to basically get Lightning for a bet, so you could have probably done with making it Terra. But honestly, you probably just made your overall team better anyway, so you're probably fine.
Yeah.
Not even gonna lie, I would also consider semi-dropping Circuitry, Expert Pardos, and trying to Terra the Rabombi, if that's possible. I don't know. I just
Yeah, I guess you
Terra
could do
Witchin's
that and
cool.
just
I
pick
feel
up a
like in
different
theory,
electric type if you
but
want to. Yeah.
I mean Terra Circuitry is good, like in theory, right? Because like you look at that stat, but then you realize
Yeah.
it doesn't have Terra Blast.
But it
This
gets
isn't a big
Dazzling
deal.
Gleam
It's
and
pretty
Energy
good
Ball, which oftentimes are enough.
enough.
Yeah,
Yeah, but then
it's a mon that takes a lot of effort to make work. I've
does.
used it a bit in the past, and like the only time I've ever got it working is really copium sets like Blunder Policy and dumb shit like that.
you need like
Nah, man. Blunder
5 different
policy.
stars to align for you.
Zap
I feel
cannon.
like.
I went Hypnosis, to be fair.
Hypnosis, Blunder
That's
If I kept
Policy.
hitting the Hypnosis.
You see, if we had Z moves, Circuitry would be up there as a Terra Captain. Shout out Z Hypnosis.
Oh yeah.
If Seamoos were allowed, I'd actually ban Secretary from having being a Terra Captain.
Really quick thing, when we made these rankings, and I looked at Savage's team and ranked it, what I ranked it, I was like, fuck, I don't want to rank this so high because of the Savage's team, but it is really good.
That's a very
Which,
good
by the
team.
way, is biased, and I don't agree with that. I think because also there is quite something funny about who's number one as well, because they normally make some of the goofiest
Yeah.
teams.
The person
Okay,
that
but
is
number
one
one's team is fucked.
the person that is number one is normally a person we rather see like at the rather bottom because they draft very
Oh, I
goofy
know who it
teams.
is because I helped them prep. I just realized.
It is
This is
Shinobi
hilarious.
Fox, aka
I just
Penis.
remembered. I was like, who the hell are they talking about? And I was like, wait, I helped this
Guys-
motherfucker build the team. I was
guys,
like, oh my
what-
god.
I
What
nearly
we
beat
learned
him in week
today
one
is,
too. I did really
guys,
well.
what we've learned as well is everyone loves Penis.
Everybody does.
Bro,
love
this is such a
Penis.
good team. Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
bro. I
it's
just
This
was
is
like, wait,
fire.
I was like, am I
It is,
forgetting
it's an
somebody? I
insane
thought it was like
team.
NGNL or something.
No, this might
And
be one
I
of
was
the
like,
best
I
teams in
missed.
all divisions. I'm going to be real.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the team's.
I know it is. It's up there. I'm not. Yeah, it's right. Like,
Let me get in. Let me run down
He
the
also changed
stats real quick before we glaze the shit out of this team, okay?
one real quick pause. He did change the Terra Captain, I think, from Rotom Frost to Mousehold, if I remember correctly. Which I think overall is a bit worse. That's a bit worse.
He did.
That
Yeah, he did to do that.
He did
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
That's a bit worse.
After
But
the
we'll get
week
to that
one match,
later.
I think, though. So
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fine. Anyways, continue.
okay, let me run through his stats real quick before we start with the glaze. Typing spells, yes, every important typing. Dragging is not necessarily an important typing. It can be nice though for the weaknesses on the elemental typings. Speed tiers. Speed tiers are good. There's no big gaps except for 80 to 60, which is, I think, a little fine because there's not a lot of mons in those specific speed tiers that will be too threatening to you. Then, offensive cores. We have Lycan Dusk, we have Urshifu Single. And technically also Swampert and Moltres can run physical. Then especially we have Spectrier.
And Venusaur,
yes,
Mega.
and Venu. Especially we have Spectrier, we have Moltres, we have Rotom Frost, and we have Mega Venusaur. Physically, we also technically have Mousehold with tidy up population bullshit. So,
especially with Terra Normal.
Explosion on commands, yeah.
So some people might wonder, okay, why is this a 9? It doesn't have as many offensive Pokemon maybe as Pate's team does. The reason is because of the offensive synergy this team has. Urshifu Single and Spectrier perfectly align on what they can hit and what they cannot hit. Like, perfectly.
Yep, Axe Taco.
Everything Spectrier hits, everything Spectrier can't hit, Urshifu hits, and everything Urshifu can hit, Spectrier hits. You can also ask Hamburger about it. He has won a chip with that combination as well. Then you add to
and also you could hang on, Ben. There's a worse player who's won with that combination as well in the call.
Yeah, you.
Yeah, exactly. I've won that combo. That's how goated that combo is.
Yeah. And then you add to that you also have on the physical side a Terra Lycanroc Dusk. With Terra is the big thing because Lycanroc Dusk already hits very hard with Tough Claws, and then you add Terra to that. That mon is nasty. I've used it myself, and it is so fun to use.
It's just so good too, because this team gets other mons into kill ranges.
Yeah.
That Lycanroc's oh my god, this team is so good.
And then especially you add Moltres, which can run defensive and still hit hard because it has 125. And Mega Venusaur, which is bulky enough to also just run special attack investment. Like offensively, this team might just be a 10 because it's so good in combination with everything.
It is also an underrated aspect as well. There is actually an underrated aspect as well. Look at this team and look how much T-Wave spam and Willow spam there is on this team.
That's for support, Roy. You are jumping line.
Sorry.
T-Wave.
Sorry.
T-Wave.
Also,
come on, man. We're trying to glaze in order here, and you're jumping the gun. Lock in.
Sorry, I was saying because Spectre gets hacked. That's why I was saying it. Sorry.
Now,
defense?
The defensive side is a little weaker than the offensive side. You still have very good defensive options. So you have Tinkaton, you have Moltres, you have Venusaur, Swampert, Rotom Frost, and even Charjabug with Evilock can be pretty defensive. We've seen Rose do that.
I do want to add that even like Taco, like when he won his chip, like you can run like a semi-defensive Spectre with Willow and stuff.
Yeah,
as
exactly.
A result. Like a Willow, it's surprisingly tanky when you add that aspect to it.
And something a lot of people also forget that Urshifu's defense stat is also 100, so it can
as well. That's
It can run like some physical defense. It probably never will because it's offensively so fucking imposing that it will never run defensive. But it has technically the option to do that. But the main defensive core consists of Tinkaton, Moltres, Mega Venusaur, Swampert, Rotom Frost, and Charjabug. And it's a very good defensive core because like the weaknesses Moltres has, for example, like obviously the water electric weakness Venusaur takes. The only issue is the rock weakness, but Swampert does take care of that because Swampert is a great rock type switch in. But I will mention this team has a problem with water types if Venusaur goes down because otherwise they don't have a water type switch in. Like that is a big thing to note because Venusaur is the only reliable water type switch in on this team, except if you like Terra the Rotom Frost, which you don't even have Terra anymore. So, it will have to be either Venusaur or Terra Charjabug taking care of water types. So that is a little bit of an issue. And you also only have like Tinkaton for dragon types, which normally it takes dragon moves obviously, but a lot of dragon types these days get earthquake, so you have to be a little careful around that. And then for the support, the hazard support is weaker than it should be probably. If this team had spikes, it would undoubtedly be probably one if not the best team drafted in this whole season. There's also a problem with removal because you only have 2 defoggers and a Tidy Up mon. While Moltres defogs amazingly, Rotom Frost is like a good backup. Tidy Up is you're not bringing Malso to every game, so Tidy Up is kind of fake sometimes. Like having a good Rapid Spinner and a good Spiker / T-Spiker on this team would be so amazing. One more thing to note, you have good knockoff mons, yes. You have pretty good momentum, yes. You don't have Wish support though, which also a lot of mons on these teams would appreciate, like Tinkaton and Swampert especially. They don't have any recovery that is reliable except for like having leftovers. So you would probably like them to have a mon that can provide a Wish.
I mean, Citrus Tinkaton is actually pretty amazing because then it pickpockets afterwards as well. Like there's a lot of
Switches, Air Balloon, the pickpocket. It's Tinkaton's such a good mon. Holy shit, bro! I could go
honestly pick. The more I use Tinkaton, the more I do love pickpocket because it's such a fun tech move. Or tech ability even.
It's the reason why Tinka is one of the most used mons in Little Cup.
Everybody, get your glaze out right now because we're at 2 hours and 48 minutes.
Okay, well, this is easily the best team in the league because I lost to it in week 1. So clearly it's the best.
This is easily the best team because penis. But also, seriously, the Hex support is fantastic. Urshifu and Single Shock is such a great combination. There is Monty, who can be defensive and supportive. I will say the team slightly goes down, in my opinion, because Roast and Frost, I think, is better to have as Terra captain because you can then bring it defensive and offensive. But Mousehold as well. Look at some of these teams. A lot of these teams do not have good answers to normal type spam. So Mousehold, once you remove stuff, can just go in with tidy up population bomb spam and like bite with Technician.
I'm just like looking at the teams right now, like at least in Clodsire, and like, shit.
Okay, Clodsire dropped the ball.
Clodsire has some fucking weird teams.
There's a lot of there's a lot of good teams as well on Clodsire. It's just everyone's like drafting for real, like semi for real in Clodsire, so like teams are like less stacked, I guess is the term. I don't even think like my team is better than his team. Jesus, this team is good. Yeah. Okay. Anyways,
yeah,
man, wrap it up.
Really
fucking insane.
I just like Rock and Dust too as a Terra cap.
Yeah. I definitely think this is the best team in Wooper. It's probably also better than the top team in Pooper and maybe even Quagsire. So yeah.
Is there a clear
We'll
top
see
team in Clod?
We'll see if it ranks better than Clodsire when we do their rankings eventually.
Yeah. So, thank you guys for watching. We're tired of Paid losing. We want Paid to have a good season, but we like to hate on him.
Did Paid play week 1 already?
No, he has
not yet.
But yeah, we were the Clodcast. This was the Wooper Prs. Any last words you guys have to say?
Shout out Wooper. It's actually a lot of fun looking teams. I'm really excited to say now that like the PRs are done that I do have Shinobi Fox, aka Penis, as the favorite to win it all.
I've
been waiting for him. I've been waiting for him for so long to draft a real team. You don't understand.
Based on the team, Penis should win. Based on the player, I think it's between Rose and Riptide.
Yeah, I guess. But
I will say, as someone who's basically modding in BTL and looking at the teams, the comparison between this team and what Penis has drafted in BTL might be the funniest juxtaposition between two teams I've ever seen. And like, trust me, just watch the BTL team; it's hilarious.
It's because Wooper stole all of his gimmicks, so he had to draft for real. And I'm so happy you guys did.
For context for that video, he has 10 Terra mons, and you'll see why in that video.
Anyways, any final words from anyone else? Ben, how about yourself? Final words.
I need to go sleep before I have uni this afternoon. So
Wooper has a lot of bad teams, but some very amazing teams. And with that, I will end this cast. Thank you guys for watching again. This was probably the longest PR we've had in a while. But if you watched the whole video, thank you for watching. And again, we're tired of Paid losing, and Penis has an amazing team. Goodbye.
And tag Ping repeatedly.